Hi guys, good morning everyone. Suresh, you all? Hope I'm loud and clear.
Yes, Suresh, good morning.
Yes, Suresh, morning.
Morning guys, morning one and all. Welcome to the session 1 of SuccessFactors Certification Training Program. So guys, before we go forward, let me introduce myself. So myself, I'm Suresh, where I hold an experience of 18 years in the SAP domain, where in which last 9+ years is into SuccessFactors consulting. And coming to my experience on the training front, I've been delivering SuccessFactors trainings almost since close to 8 years, where I've trained over 1,500 plus participants from different parts of the globe. I have my participants from different parts, where I've handled multiple retail and corporate training programs. And prior to that, of course, I even handled SAP HCM trainings for a couple of years. So this is about my real-time professional experience and also the training experience parallelly. So I currently play a role of a solution architect in one of the level 5 MNCs, and I parallelly take my trainings. So that's where to highlight I'm not just into trainings, I have my real-time career. So all my discussions will be with the real-time examples and the use cases, what we come across in the actual projects. And coming to my credentials, I'm a professional certified consultant where I hold my certifications on all the top significant modules of SuccessFactors, like employee central, performance management, recruiting management, succession, career development planning. So these are quite a few certifications I hold as well. So professional certified status is something that we get based on customer feedback, and it's not just by writing an exam. So you will find very few people in the market with the professional certified status, and I'm one among the few. So this is to start with initially about my introduction, and we'll get to know more about each other down the line. And I understand that most of you have already attended the demo session that we had last weekend, and few of you are joining for the first time today. For the benefit of everyone, let me introduce all the details from detail, where in which today, as we know, that SuccessFactors is a HR solution. So it has multiple modules in it for each and every function of HR, like the way you have different functions within HR, like the talent acquisition space, the training and development, performance appraisal processes, various things you have within HR. So for each and every such function, you have a respective dedicated module that's being offered by SuccessFactors. And today SuccessFactors stands with a portfolio of 11 plus such modules. Among them, so this is the entire list in which the top 3 what are highlighted are those that are very much in demand across the geographies in the consulting line of business, and they have a lot of opportunities across the geographies. It's not just an Indian market, so across all the geographies, it might be the Middle East market, Europe market, US, Southeast Asia, everywhere it has a pretty good market. And that's why these are the top 3 modules what we have taken in our curriculum. Okay, so we'll be looking into the deep end-to-end configurations of all these modules, the way how we will be required to handle the configurations of the client requirements across these 3 modules of employee central, performance and recruitment is what we'll be looking at in our curriculum here at Windhorn. And to have the complete elaborated understanding of the curriculum, before we get into any module specific configurations, gentlemen, the first thing is we start with the discussion on the mastery level. Introduction to mastery is a topic that we start with, where in which you get an understanding of the complete fundamental basics of this product. So whatever experience you bring from, so I know that there are people from 2 years of experience till 23 years of experience. I see a person in this joining list today, but end of the day, whatever experience you bring to SuccessFactors today, you're starting from the scratch. You have a good basics about the HR function and all, but as a product wise, we should start from the scratch where we have to understand the complete basics of it. So that's what we'll concentrate in the introduction to mastery level, the first topic, which brings you all that foundational understanding with the terminologies, systems, navigations, all the fundamental setup, our architecture of it. And then we get into the regular modules like employee central, recruitment and performance, point number 2, 3, 4 in my slide. And at the end of the program, we'll also concentrate on the reporting part. So being a HR product, so there will be a lot of reporting requirements that the client would be expecting to extract reports on the employee salary information, employees performance data. So on the recruitment module about the recruiting status and the hiring trends of the company. So we'll have a lot of reports to be generated. So how can we generate that reports in a way that both the core data would be extracted in Excel formats or a graphical representation of the data for the top management level. So all that reporting is also what we'll be looking at the point number 5, analytics and reporting level. So this is to give you a quick understanding of the curriculum, what we focus on. And then getting into the product of SuccessFactors. So as I told, so people are from different experience levels are coming here. So few of you already have an understanding of the product and few are very much layman. So for the benefit of everyone, I'll start describing the product from the complete scratch. But before I get into the actual discussions of the product, I just want to highlight, if you have any questions in between in the entire process, I request you to please use the hand raise option. In the Zoom controls, you have the hand raise option. You can use that so that whenever you raise your hand, I can call out your name and we can discuss your query. So do not hesitate to ask your questions. Just raise your hand and just wait. I'll call out your name. We can discuss each and everything. That's the way. And then moving on, to describe the product of SuccessFactors, first we should know what kind of a job role we are targeting. So before we get into the technical discussion of the product of SF, what it does and all. So you, by learning this program, what are you actually targeting is the main important point. So whatever existing experience of say talent acquisition space you're coming from, or from a core HR domain experience, or you're a professional already handling some other HR products like Oracle HCM or PeopleSoft or something, when you're coming into SuccessFactors today, you are landing into an IT sector. Whatever core experience you have, today you're landing into an IT sector where you will play the role of consulting. IT consultants, SuccessFactors consultants are the designations that you will deal with. So tomorrow, once you're trained and certified, the jobs that you land up will be in the IT companies, like all this Accenture, Wipro, Deloitte. These are the tier 1 companies, but we have a lot more other companies which we don't know the names, but there are a lot more IT companies which offer SuccessFactors openings. So once you land up into these IT companies, so you will be working on the projects of their clients. Example, as you see on my system. So we have IBM example, you get a job with IBM tomorrow. So you will be working for the clients of IBM, where now Coca-Cola as one of the company, if they want to implement SuccessFactors as their internal HR solution, so they will approach IBM or Accenture, like these IT companies. So now this IT company will deploy the employees, their consultants to that project. So tomorrow you working for IBM, you will be deployed for this Coca-Cola project, where you will be speaking with the HR department of Coca-Cola. You will understand all their HR requirements, what kind of hiring process they follow, what kind of performance appraisal process they follow. All the requirements is what we gather, and we configure the SuccessFactors HR system as per their requirements, and we deliver the project. So that's how the project, that's how your job role looks like. So having the requirement gathering sessions, configuring the product, testing and delivering it. So that way the projects can range between 8 months to 1 year timeline. So after you are done with one project, now IBM can assign you to the second project, this time PepsiCo. Like that, so different clients, one after the other, is what you will work on. So that is what your job role looks like. You're basically coming into an IT environment where you will be working on the configurations of SuccessFactors HR system. And the beauty is, this is a pure functional product. You don't have any programming or coding. So you are landing into IT sector, you don't have any programming coding requirement here. It's complete on-screen configurations. That is this. Okay. And then now to also define the product. So in simple, one particular point is that SuccessFactors is a HR solution. That's what everyone understands. By this time, you already know that SuccessFactors is a HR solution. So the way how any organization will require a software to maintain and manage their employee data, that's where SuccessFactors comes in, a basic HRMS system. But not limiting to the basic functionality of maintaining the employee data, it has a wide range of solutions. That's what we have seen the list of modules in the portfolio. So which is a combination of core HR and talent solutions. Okay. So core HR and talent solutions are the two set of modules where core HR is basically the employee central module, gentlemen, where the core functionality of hiring, promotions, transfers till the retirement of an employee, the employee record maintenance from hire to retire happens in the core HR module of employee central. During the employee's lifetime within the company, whether he is going to spend 5 years tenure in this company or 10 years tenure in the company, we will have a lot of other talent solutions that will help to engage the employee, to give the opportunity for the employees to learn and grow within the organization and all through various other solutions like learning management system, career development programs, performance appraisal processes, through which we tend to increase the talent of the organization, which is nothing but the employees. Okay, so that is where SuccessFactors comes up with a combination of various HR requirement solutions within one platform. So tomorrow, a company implementing SuccessFactors need not go for any other product for any other application. So they have everything, every HR need served under one platform. It might be the recruiting module or a performance management module or a learning management solution. Everything they have under one single platform. So that's the beauty of SuccessFactors, where you don't have any other products in the market having these wide range of solutions offered. So that is where we say SuccessFactors comes up with a combination of core HR and talent solutions, and it can be implemented as a standalone or hybrid product. So a standalone means if a customer is depending on only all these modules of SF without any other dependency from third party, any other external software, that is standalone. Or else if a client says that out of these 11 modules, I'm interested to implement the first 3 modules of SuccessFactors. Whereas when I have to go for learning management system, I like some other software in the market. For career development programs, I like some other software in the market, if they say, and they implement other softwares with an integration with SuccessFactors. So that is also possible. So if you want to implement only these 3 modules in SF, and what all employee data you are maintaining employee central, if you have to integrate with the third party learning management system, third party career development programs, all that, you can even do that. So SuccessFactors is compatible to integrate with other softwares, gentlemen. It can be Oracle, Java, .NET, into any platform it can integrate. So that's where we say it can be implemented as a standalone or a hybrid solution. So having integration possible is called hybrid. So these are the three important takeaways that it's a HR solution. First of all, a cloud-based HR solution. So what is this cloud-based? I'll come up in next couple of slides. So it's a cloud-based HR solution, first of all, and it has a wide range of solutions. It's the 11 module portfolio, which is a combination of core HR and talent solutions, and it can be implemented as a standalone or hybrid model. So these are the introduction about this is the introduction about the product of SuccessFactors, how it stands out when it compared to its competitors. And also to have a little background about this product. So you might be aware of this product of SuccessFactors in the market from last 4 or 5 years, or maximum 8-9 years. One in the Indian market, it is a little popular. But whereas SuccessFactors has launched almost 22 years ago in the year of 2002 in the US market. So in the US market, 2002, they have started with single module of performance management. And right from day one, they are on the cloud-based platform. So then year by year, they have been adding new modules into the portfolio. And today, SuccessFactors is a portfolio of almost 11 modules, which is offered in 168 countries. And it is available in 43 languages across the globe. Okay. So in between, in 2011 is where actually SAP acquired SuccessFactors, guys. So initially SuccessFactors and SAP are two different companies. In 2011, looking at the demand of this module, the success of this product, SAP acquired SuccessFactors in 2011, and today we call it as an SAP product. And SuccessFactors solution supporting in 168 countries across the globe indicates you the global consulting opportunities you have in this product. So wide job market across the globe, a booming product today, and it becomes a easy to opt solution for large enterprises who have their employees spread across various countries across the globe. The example of Coca-Cola that I am taking is the best example that you see. Coca-Cola is present in several countries across the globe. In most of the countries you visit, you ask for Coca-Cola, you get that product. So they have their employees in the business spread across different parts of the globe, and SuccessFactors kinds of a global product will be an obvious go-to solution for those companies where they can maintain one global HR system across the world. So instead of having local products, one HR system within India, one for Canada, one for Middle East, instead of that, a global platform where all their employees' data can be maintained. So that shows us the capability of the HR product on the global platform. And even in terms of languages, you see it is offered in 43 global languages. Like you can expect it in Hindi in India if you want. You can use it in Arabic in Middle East, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, German, Italian, like this. Top significant 43 languages SF is supporting today. So this is where SFS started with one single module 22 years ago and where it stands today. And on all this context, we can agree today that SuccessFactors has become a global market leader in this cloud-based HR solutions category. But what is this cloud is a main question that comes up. So we understand that it is going to be a HR product, but what do you highlight? Why do you highlight it as a cloud product continuously? So what is it different? How is it different from the regular softwares or the applications? Okay. So in that context, gentlemen, so generally, in a basic sense, if we look at the traditional way, any company implementing a software, they will have a database. Every product, whatever software any companies are using in their business, they will have a backend database for every software. That's a minimum understanding we know. So the database of that software, if it is within the client's office, in their control, the raw database, the physical database you have in your server room within your company, that is called on-premise approach. The previous way how we used to deal with the softwares, on-premise. So whereas instead of having the database in the customer's control in their office, in their premise, if the database is remotely present, some other part, it can be in any other country, in any other continent, anywhere, that is called remote access, or we call it as a cloud model. Having the database within the company, within our control, is a on-premise approach, or having a database hosted remotely in a different part of the globe, and you access the data in the database through internet, is a cloud model. So that is a simple difference. Having the database in your office, in your location, or it is in a remote location, is what the main difference is. And here, this approach of remotely hosting the database and accessing over internet is nothing new. We are already used to it in our day-to-day life. The way we use our applications of Facebook, LinkedIn, Gmail, all these are cloud-based, guys. So the way example you take Facebook. So 10 years ago in 2014, if you have uploaded a video or a photo into your Facebook account, even today, you can log in into your Facebook account and you can scroll down and you can access that photo or video, the memory, whatever you have uploaded 10 years ago. So all these 10 years, where is that photo or a video stored? Is in the Facebook server. It's not in your mobile memory. It's not in your laptop memory. It is in the Facebook database. And where is the Facebook database? We don't know. It can be anywhere. Facebook might have present its database in US, or they might have kept it in Europe, or they might have kept it in Russia, anywhere. But you getting the access to the data in the database over internet through a proper authentication into your account is what a cloud model, or how Facebook operates. Same way Gmail, all this. So this is what cloud model is. Remotely hosting the data and accessing the data on demand whenever you require over internet is what a cloud model is, or we technically also call it as SaaS model, gentlemen. SaaS, software as a service model. And that remote location where we will have the client database hosted is called a data center. And here, who is handling the databases? SAP. When it comes to SuccessFactors, SAP is going to handle the databases of the global customers. So SAP takes the responsibility of handling those databases in that remote locations, and those are called data centers. Today, we have around 15 data centers, 15 data centers across the globe, where in each data center, we have hundreds of customer databases. So on an average, every data center can expect between 500 to 1,000 customer databases. So like that, we have one in Amsterdam, Netherlands. We have one in Sydney, Australia. We have one in Singapore, one in Saudi Arabia, one in South Africa. Like that, 15 data centers are present as on date, and that is expanding. When the customers are increasing, the data centers also will increase. So this is how architecture wise how SF works actually. When you generally Google about SuccessFactors, or when you speak with anybody about SuccessFactors, the first thing that comes is it's a cloud-based software. Is the first statement that anybody say, cloud-based HR software. So when you have to answer what is cloud, tomorrow when somebody is asking you if you are learning SuccessFactors, what do you mean by cloud model? This is the first answer. Having the database of the product hosted remotely and having the access to the data in the database over internet is what a cloud model is. So that's how the SuccessFactors architecture looks like. But end of the day, for us as a consultants who are working on the configuration of the product, we actually have nothing to do with that, guys. Okay, end of the day, we need to know the configuration of the product, like how do you configure the hiring process, how do you configure the termination process, all this HR related configurations is what you have to know. So we don't deal with any database, the way it is hosted. So no database transactions, we don't deal with it. The front end application configuration is what we deal with. The database maintenance is purely SAP responsibility, not that it is nothing to do with the consultants. Okay, that's the first clarity you should have. And then now understanding this is how SuccessFactors operates. So let us also discuss some advantages of it. So what are the reasons or the why? What are the reasons why the cloud-based solutions are so much successful in the recent times, and why the companies are migrating towards cloud-based solutions? Not only in this SuccessFactors, guys, everywhere in every sector you see, in every product, it might be HR, finance, sales, marketing, everywhere things are going under cloud-based. So what are the reasons or the advantages with that is quite a few that we'll discuss now. But again, I just want to stop in between. If anybody has any questions, as I already told, you can just use your hand raise option if you have a question, so that I can call out your name and we can discuss your query. Sounds good. Okay. So moving on to discuss some advantages. So the first thing is, as I told, hardware. So you don't have any hardware requirements for SuccessFactors implementation. So generally, previously, when you implement a software to handle the database, the company has to invest on the software hardware servers, the hardware servers of database. So you have to buy a
Sorry,
main.
somebody has a query. I guess somebody has raised.
You can
So,
please, I'll just call out their names, Kirtika.
thanks.
I know that. Yes. So the point is, so whenever you're investing on a database, it's about a physical database server is what you have to invest on. So when you invest on that server, it's not just one-time investment, it's a continuous investment that you have to maintain the annual maintenance charges for that product. So whatever is a database, so physical database, it doesn't stay with one database. You have to have a secondary as a backup database server also. So if one server is down, the other server should be up and running immediately. So that way the main servers, the backup servers, and having a dedicated server room in your company to handle your databases, and a continuous power backup to that server room, having some network engineers in your company to take care of those database servers. This way, you have a lot of infrastructure cost involved in it. So when it comes to this cloud-based approach, where these organizations are taking care of the SAP or Google or Amazon or Microsoft, when these gained companies are handling your databases through data centers, so the cost what is to be incurred by an end customer on the hardware infrastructure part is a lot of reduced. So that's where the total ownership cost of the project is reduced, is what we see. In the project management terminology, the total ownership cost of the project is reduced. So that's where the first commercial benefit the clients see with the cloud-based applications. Okay, that's one to start with, and we'll discuss quite a few more. Let me take some questions in the meanwhile. Yeah, Mr. Ravi.
Yes, hi Suresh.
Hi.
You said there are around 43 languages which is in SAP SuccessFactor, right?
Right.
Yeah. For suppose I'm using it in English because I don't know Arabic. So if I'm using it in English, can the person who might be an Arabic can see the same thing in Arabic?
Yeah, definitely. That's
Because
what.
I don't know Arabic, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's
Mm-hmm.
parallelly multiple more languages can be activated. An employee in India
Yeah.
is comfortable in English, he'll use it in English. An employee from Germany can see the same system in the German version. So from Middle East in the Arabic version, that way. Okay, I'll even show that in some time.
Sure. Thank you.
Sounds good. Next, Shivam.
Hey Suresh, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Okay, so actually my question is that you mentioned in starting of the session, right? Like if I am hiring for a IBM, right, and work for a Coca-Cola project, right?
Right.
So I just wanted to know if I work for a IBM and they assigned me a project, then should this single-handedly I made it end-to-end implementation and configurations for a Coca-Cola, or there is any team where I be a part of a team and working together to deliver that project to Coca-Cola?
Yeah, good question. So obviously it will be module wise. So it's not a one-man show to complete the entire implementation. So now, for example, there are three modules the client is starting the project now: employee central, recruitment, and performance. There will be three individual consultants who will be assigned for module wise. Okay, it's not expected for one person to deliver all the three modules. So respective consultants will be assigned.
No,
If
no.
it's
Suppose,
for
okay. Suppose, Coca-Cola wants only one module to implement in their company. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
in that
that's what I'm
scenario,
continuing that's what I'm continuing my answer. So first of all, module wise the team allocation is one person per one module. Second, it is like now within one module, if you have to say for one module, it is actually a role of one consultant generally, where you don't have any functional, technical, security, different roles. Success factors is single end to end. Okay. So now for if you take employee central as a scenario that you're asking, for this employee central module, if it is a larger project, if you have like Coca-Cola as a larger client where they have their business spread across several countries, now I have to handle implementation for India, US, Canada, multiple regions, then I can have not only one single consultant can't deliver entire thing. We can have multiple EC consultants. So a team of 3 consultants, 4 consultants that can be assigned to this project, where for EC, for in Indian zone, like Asian side of the project is what one consultant will deal with. The Middle East part of the project can be dealt by one consultant. That way, there can be a team of 3, 4 EC consultants also that can be assigned. But end of the day, it's only the employee central consultant as one designation that will be required. You don't have any other people involved in the project. A project manager, a consultant, and the client. That's it. Okay.
okay, okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's clear. Thank you so much.
Excellent. And then now continuing the discussion on the advantage that we are seeing. So the first commercial benefit is about the hardware part. So the clients need not invest on the hardware first thing. The next important benefit that the organization sees with the licensing model. So licensing wise, so now SuccessFactors is not sold as one single costly license, guys. So if you have all the 11 modules included in the license, it will be definitely too costly. So every customer need not start investing for that huge cost right from day one. They have made the license cost module wise. So EC license, recruitment license, performance license, like that separately they made it into slices, such that today if I'm implementing 3 modules, I am charged only 3 module license. Tomorrow, if I add 2 more modules, from that day, I'll be charged for 5 modules. That way, so not from day one, I am not charged with a single large costly license. That's the first definition. The further advantages with the success factors particularly is in a organization, in a manufacturing industry, which is a company of say 30,000 employees, you can expect in a 30,000 employee workforce, minimum 5-6,000 employees who will not be computer friendly. So either they are not educated, or even educated, they are not used to use computers, laptops, all this. So they are the core workers. They work in the manufacturing units and the plants and all. They are not computer friendly. Then they will never use success factors in during their day-to-day activities. Then success factors is giving an exemption on such employees who never log into the system. People who never log into the HR system of SuccessFactors, for them SAP is giving an exemption such that 5,000, 6,000 users, I'm not charging any license. So that way, in a company of 30,000 employees, 5-6,000 licenses per year, if you are able to save. So when the count of the employees is increasing, like the 60,000 employees, 1 lakh employees, larger enterprises. So for them, you see how many more employees licenses that they can see. So that's one more commercial advantage that SAP gives to the customers. So licensing wise, these are the 2 advantages commercially that the companies see. And then regular updates. So being a cloud product, SuccessFactors comes up with new features and functionalities continuously in their portfolio. So now the way you get your Android phone updates and you get your iOS software updates every year or once or twice a year, you get the mobile updates and you update your mobile app, mobile OS. As simple as that, SuccessFactors product can also comes up with the different updates twice a year in the month of May and in the month of November. Twice a year, new features and functionalities keep on coming into the portfolio. The SAP's internal innovation team keeps on coming up with new engineering ideas and solutions. So that's where all these updates are free of cost to the client. So today in 2024, if I implement the project, what all features I have, say example, I have 100 features today. I'm not going to stay with this 100. So in next 6 months, there might be 10 more new features that can release. After 6 months, 20 more features that might release. That way I keep on adding up the new features without any additional cost. So that's the advantage again commercially that the clients have. And the last but not least, accessibility. So SuccessFactors comes up with a remote access where you can access the product from anywhere, anytime, any part of the globe. So post-pandemic, companies are looking for remote access. The application should be available over the cloud, such a way, even if my employee is in a remote location, if he has the internet access, he can connect to the network. So it's not mandatory that he has to come and sit in the office network, on the office laptop, nothing like that. So that is what the companies are looking post-pandemic. And that is what it offers in the cloud-based approach. And even the SuccessFactors solutions are supported in across the devices. You can use it in Android mobile app, you can use it in iOS mobile app, in iPads, tablets, laptops, desktops, across the devices, you can use SuccessFactors. So these are few pointers to highlight as advantages, and the list goes on. There are multiple more advantages the clients see with cloud-based products. Okay, so this is to give you an understanding about the product portfolio, what all modules we have in it, what is the architecture of cloud model, how it functions, what are the advantages with the cloud-based solutions, all that. And going from this generalized discussion to the specific discussion of product of SuccessFactors in detail is where we have to start looking at the system. So the product of SF system is what I'll be trying to show you now, in which first to introduce you what are the systems we come across, gentlemen. We have these two systems, provisioning and instance. As a consultant, when you're working on the project, you will come across these two systems, provisioning and instance. Okay, so the number of activities what you do as a consultant during the configurations will be divided in a ratio of 15:85. So the provisioning system, what you do, the total project activities is 15% of the activities. And in the instance level, what you do is 85%. So majority of your configurations in the project are from the instance side. Instance system, 85% of your project work. Okay. And further to elaborate about the systems, so the provisioning level, what you do is basically activations. You're not doing any configurations, activations. So you have to understand the difference between activations and configurations. So activation is like, now out of 11 modules, if client has decided to implement, what do you say, if they have decided to implement 3 modules, activating the 3 modules, just a checkbox to be enabled. That's what happens in the provision. Similarly, languages, out of 43 languages, if client is expecting to activate 5 language packs, so English, Hindi, Chinese, Arabic, like this few languages, if they say, so enabling that languages again through a checkbox is what it happens in the provisioning. So that kind of module activations, language pack activations, and few config files, some prerequisite config files on the day one when we start the implementation, we have to upload. So that kind of things is what happens in the provisioning. We don't do any configurations here, just activations and some prerequisite config files upload is what we do. The actual configurations like client specific workflow requirements, process flows, validations, calculations, all that data maintenance, everything happens on the instance system. Instance is a system where we as a consultants do all the configurations. And tomorrow, once the project is completed, when the client is starting to use the system, say if Coca-Cola project is what we have done, after 8 months of project is completed, now if Coca-Cola has to start using the system, it is the instance system what they use. They never see the provisioning that way. So if you see the instance system, I have mentioned both end user access, admin access. End users are the client side employees. Admin access is like the consultant access can be referred as admin access, where you do the configurations. So both consultants and the client side people will access the instance system, but provisioning is a system accessible only by consultants who are certified. Provisioning system will never be seen by the client because for accessing provisioning, you should be certified. That is a mandatory point. One should be certified to access the provisioning system. So that is where SAP makes certification mandatory. So this way you have two systems you come across as a consultant, but for end user, it is only the instance system, which we call it as a front end. That is a system what they see. And here an important point to be noted is generally SuccessFactors being a HR system, few people will be with an assumption that only HR department will be using SuccessFactors, they think, but that's not true. SuccessFactors can be used by each and every employee in the company, right from CEO till the clerk. Everybody will have their own ID and password individually to log in into the product. Okay, so that is how SuccessFactors solutions are. So it's not just limited to HR department. But when when everybody is having to having a login, what permissions they have in the system will differ. For a general end user, there might be say 10 permissions. If I'm a reporting manager, I can have 20 permissions. If I'm a HR, I might have 40 permissions. If I'm a HOD, I might have 60 permissions. That way, so the range of access what you have in the system will differ based on your role. But end of the day, everybody will have their login. Every employee can look at their salary data, they can download their pay statements, they can apply leave. So like that, every employee can log in. So this is how the systems are breakdown, and how does that systems look like is what we'll start exploring now. So that's where I'll start with introducing you the instance system. Just give me a moment, let me log in into the instance. Any questions in the meantime? Yeah, Mr. Ravi.
Yes, sir. Suresh, I came from a background of BTech and I've been into recruiting, only recruiting, not into HR payrolls or something still now. And I have an experience of around 11 years. So, do you think, I'll be eligible to take this?
Yeah, definitely. So you are into the 11 years of experience in
Learning
the core you want to
SuccessFactors,
say.
does it benefit me? Because I don't have any HR payroll activities till now.
No, that's what I did here. In my discussion till now in the last 25 minutes, you see, I haven't spoke anything about payroll. Okay. So the point is, SuccessFactors is a HR system with multiple other module portfolios. Don't think about payroll. Generally, HR means it's not about salary processing only. Okay, that's what when you see the portfolio of modules, there is no single module I spoke about payroll here. Payroll is completely another system. Payroll is not a module within SuccessFactors at all. SAP has a cloud payroll called Employee Central Payroll. That's a different system, different software together. Okay. So SuccessFactors is about basically the in-house modules which will help you to maintain the employee data and run various other talent solutions for the employees, nothing to do with payroll mandatory. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other concerns about your background experience? How will that be eligible for me for the SF and all individual calls? I'll definitely be able to take it, Ravi. So for even post this call, I can directly have a one-to-one conversation and I can explain you the details. Not a problem. Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good. Yeah, Pritija, please, your question.
Yeah, Suresh, I wanted to check the difference between recruiting management and recruiting marketing.
Okay. So recruiting management and marketing wise, the majority of the content will be in the management part. The third point, what you see. The fifth one is the marketing. So the main core process of recruiting, like identifying a vacancy in the company and till the process of hiring someone, releasing an offer letter and they accepting the offer, that entire process is what the main recruiting management module will cover, what we are going to have in our agenda. Marketing is all about the way how you market your jobs in the jobs of your company in different other platforms. The way how you post your jobs to LinkedIn or you get it marketed in Twitter or some other social platforms. The way how you connect it and market your jobs is all about the marketing bit, which is not a major part, it's a very small, tiny part. The recruiting marketing as a module is a tiny part. The way how you get it connected to the social networks. That's it. So the main core context of the recruiting solution, right from creating the job requirements, getting it approved within the organization, getting it posted into the market so that the people start applying for the job. And once people start applying, the way you carry out the selection process, like technical assessments, interviews, all that, and then offer release process, everything is in the recruiting management, which we cover. Okay.
Yeah, Suresh, thank you so much.
Yeah, Shivam.
Suresh, I have a same questions. I just wanted to continue with that with the same. I mean, I just wanted to know, in a recruitment RCM, is this the same? When I visit any website, I mean, suppose I visit a Deloitte or Accenture or IBM website and go to the career page, and if anybody going to apply, any candidate going to apply on this particular portal job board, then
Right.
job board we need to be created in
Yeah,
a
so that's what it comes with as a part of the recruiting management. So it will be an automatic URL that gets generated for every job that is being posted from the recruitment module. For every SuccessFactors recruitment customer, SuccessFactors is giving one portal into which all the jobs of that organization will be landed. So the companies will just maintain the link of that portal in their website. Now, when you go to the Deloitte website, whatever is the recruiting page that you're seeing is exactly SuccessFactors recruiting page, which is a dedicated link that was given by SAP for Deloitte. So they use that link in the website.
Exactly. I mean, this is the same one, right? Which
Exactly.
we need to be configure every career page, and candidates go there and apply for the positions, right?
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
We call it as external career portal. So the page where the people out of the organization can see the jobs is called external career page. Same way within the SuccessFactors system also, there will be a page for the people within the organization can see what are the jobs available currently, and if they want to refer any of their friends and family, so their internal career portal will also be available. That we'll see.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
So coming to the system of SuccessFactors, gentlemen. So this is how the instance system looks like, where I told you the end user system, where a client who is implementing the software, once the project is completed and they want to start using the system. So this is a system that they use. And when they log in, this is the first page that they come across. And we, the consultants, also, when we do the configurations, as I told, 85% of our configuration work in a project will be in this system. Okay, that's the way. And then here you have the navigations into each and every module what is implemented in the system. So here in the system we have performance, recruitment, succession planning, like this multiple modules implemented. And just to clarify, Shivam, as I told you, this is the one. The careers is the one which is an internal career portal where the people can see what are the jobs that are available for them internally, where if they want to internally have a transition or they want to refer someone or their friends or someone, they can do under this that way.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Sounds good.
And then here it also shows you the good morning, good afternoon messages by default, where that depends upon your time zone, gentlemen. So currently it's showing me good afternoon because I'm in a different country currently. And now here it also comes up with some quick actions. So the quick actions is where, as an individuals, each and every employee in a company, what are the frequently used applications that they expect to see is what we have under quick actions. So generally every employee will be liking to apply leaves. So the common reason why a general employee will come into HR system will be to download pay statement, to apply leaves, to look at their personal data in the system. These kinds of few reasons will be there. In that, so this one, request time of the second icon. If I click on this, system will open a pop-up in which I can actually apply the leave immediately without going into several screens. With a single click, the leave application screen can come in front of me. Similarly, if I am a person at a management level and if I am interested to look at some reports, so the last icon you see, view tile reports. If I click on it, system comes up with a preview of some kinds of data, some graphical analysis of the data representation in the system. Some graphical representation this way. We can configure multiple more and we see that in the reporting discussion, this thing. And then if I'm a person in the company who generally carry out a lot of approvals, example, I'm a head of the department or someone where I do a lot of approvals in the company, like leave approvals, promotion approvals, termination approvals, all that. So if I'm going on vacation for a couple of weeks, if I want to nominate someone in my absence who can take care of these approvals, I have this first icon called delegate workflows. Delegate workflows. If I click on it, system comes with a pop-up in which I can switch on the delegation, and I can give a time range, and I can give a name of a person who can be acting in my absence that way. So here we have a time period that we can give in which we can nominate a delegate in our absence to deal with. So this kind of different features is what we have with a single click access on the home page under quick action section. Okay. And what's more discussion on this quick actions we'll have in our sessions down the line, the way we can customize this all that. And as an individual, if there are any items pending on my name in the system, like any workflow approvals or any mandatory training programs that I have to do, such kind of things, what needs my attention will be coming under this section as for you today. Okay. So these are all automatic, guys. So what should appear on the home page will be all automated. We need not even configure this. So particularly this section for you today, what will come under is system will have the capability of looking at the pending activities of an individual user across the entire system. Anything pending on my name that my attention is required will be automatically brought up under this section. We don't require any config to be done for this. That way. And we have a lot of customization options here to add some additional custom blocks on the home page, to remove some quick actions here. So the background image, if I have to change this background image, the client logo instead of SuccessFactors logo, if I want to upload the client logo like Coca-Cola logo, all that customization is what we can still do in this page, and we see that in the upcoming discussions. Okay. Next, we have Kritika.
Yes, Suresh. Delegation option will be there. Whatever approvals or whatever permissions the particular person is having, the same will be delegated to the delegator for an instant period, or how is it?
If you
Or
see
only
this, it's about delegation of approvals. That is only the approving authority, not
okay.
the access internally in the system, just the approving authority. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Guys, just give me a moment, please. Yeah, Varun, your question, please. Varun, if you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay, Varun, I'm not able to hear you. If you have any question, just drop me in the chat if you have any audio issue. In the meantime, let me move on to the other person, Mr. Ravi.
Who are other competitors of SAP SuccessFactor?
So we have very few products where we have to call it as a competitor. When you name as a HR product, there are hundreds of HR products in the company, where a product which will be having only performance application, that is also HR, they say. Only recruiting software, that is also HR product, they say. That way we have hundreds of HR softwares, but having a solution which is having multiple portfolio of modules like this is very few we have. That too, even today, competing SuccessFactors with 11 module portfolio, there is no such. So few nearby competitors will be referred as Oracle HCM, PeopleSoft, Workday. Like this, we have quite a few less than 10 competitors, what we have today. And SuccessFactors stays ahead of them in all the aspects, in terms of the portfolio of solutions it offers, in terms of the global platform where it is supported in various countries, the language support, the integration capability, the complex time solutions, the time scenarios that it can handle, the integration capability with different biometric systems that it can handle, like Chronos and all. On all these contexts, SuccessFactors is already leading the competition when compared to the other leaders what we have in the less than 10 members. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Sounds good. There are a couple of questions in the chat. Let me have a look at it. So there is a question in the chat about, can we have a separate homepage for every customer? Yes, of course, every customer system is individual to them, Varun. So now the look and feel what I am showing you here is what we can customize according to the requirement of one particular client. So now if the Coca-Cola wants to have their own images here, now currently there are some buildings, what you see in the background. So the Coca-Cola specific background images we can upload here. This logo is what SuccessFactors logo will be updated with a Coca-Cola logo. And the look and feel here completely are seeing in a gray theme. The system is currently in a gray theme. Like generally Coca-Cola's theme is like red and white. So if you want to go with the red and white theme, so you have a tool called Team Manager, in which we can handle the look and feel of the system with the client specific colors. This Theme Manager, like this, we can customize the system, their home page or internet, various transaction pages, everything client specific will be configured. It has nothing to do with the global system. That's just one system for one customer. Their system level, they can do a lot of customizations. Okay. Next. So Harita, proxy as a feature is something we haven't discussed yet. So I'll come to that. That will confuse the audience. And then there is a question about sync between the modules. Yeah. So Avyukt, so SuccessFactors has an internal mechanism where we can have the data between the modules that can be interchanged. That is, now any employee that's joined the SuccessFactors system, their record will be hired in Employee Central. That's what we know. So from Employee Central, for each and every record that is being hired, we can have the data of the employee pushed into the other solutions down the line, into the talent modules like performance, recruitment, all that. So for that is where we have HRIS sync as a concept. Okay, so we will be having detailed discussion on the way how that sync happens in our sessions down the line. Just to give you a quick representation. So this is how HRIS sync is what we say. For every employee being hired in Employee Central, the way how the data flows into the talent modules like goals, performance, recruiting, all that, and HRIS sync as a process is what we'll have. And that's a detailed discussion that we'll have in our Employee Central. Okay, that's one. And then we have few questions.
Excuse me, Suresh, Ashwini.
Ashwini, just raise your hand and wait. I'll
Yeah,
call
yeah, sure.
Yeah, Amol, for your question about module-wise delegations, so we have it today, the delegation as a feature, generally available only in Employee Central module. Just in this November release, as I told, every 6 months SF comes with new features and functionalities. In this current 2024 November release, SF has come up with a delegation functionality in the performance management module also. So as of now, it is Employee Central and Performance are the only two modules in which the delegation as a feature is working. So how does the config of that looks like is what we'll see in our sessions down the line. Okay, next. And Avyuk, for your question of BIB integration, so that is not a part of the Employee Central discussions. So BIB integration is a part of an integration as a separate training program we have. So here it is a context on the core Employee Central with time off, position management, and the recruiting management, performance management, these modules. So not on the integration space. But in our sessions, as an Employee Central consultant, what all knowledge you should be having on the integration context, the overview of it, like what sort of integration scenarios come into existence in the real-time projects. What are the integration platforms that we use in the middleware as a middleware platforms, and the most recommended middleware platform of CPI, HCI or CPI we say. So some information, knowledge about that product of CPI, how does it deal with? So these things is what comes in our discussion. But having a dedicated discussion on the integration configuration is a separate training program where it's a separate role, a separate consultant will be there in a project. That's a separate certification and a separate career altogether. So SuccessFactors module consulting is a different line of career. Integrations is a different line of career. So here our concentration is on the modules of EC recruitment and PMG. Okay. Sounds good. That's a good set of questions. And now I'll move on to the discussions once again, and I'll come back to the questions later on. So explore further more on this product of instance here, guys. So we have some tools, like first thing very important is about employee file. So for every employee who logs in into the SuccessFactors system, they will have an access into their profile where they can see all the information what has been maintained in the system against their name. Example, here you have, now I am currently logged in as an admin user, Emily Clark. So in this admin user Emily Clark profile, right from our profile picture with different sections of her information, like what are the national IDs that she can maintain, like if it is in India, the way you maintain PAN number, Aadhaar number, the address details of that user, some personal details like the name, gender, and followed by some marital status, etc. Different personal information fields that you can have about marital status, nationality, gender, name, all that. And then followed by details about the contact details, emergency contact details. Next, the complicated information like the salary, compensation information, like what is the entire total pay of this employee, or individual breakup of items like what is the basic pay, all that. So here is the annualized salary, and then followed by bottom individual breakup of components like what is the basic pay, what is the HRA, like that salary data. So lots of sections of employee information will be present on this profile page, where this page is part of employee central discussions and how can we customize this, what kind of validations we can come here, all that comes in the EC discussions. And here you also have the navigation into something called company info that will give you a hierarchy of employees. So when you go into this company info, the way how the employees are reporting to each other, the entire hierarchy of employees from the CEO till the clerk in the company is what you can see it as an org chart. Where in this system currently, this system administrator Emily Clark is reporting to Jessie Wilson, where she further reports to someone called Nicole Sanders. Like this, the hierarchy goes on until the CEO of the organization, you can see the hierarchy. Where under this Nicole Sanders, you can see there are 4 people, out of which Jessie Wilson is one of the person and the rest of the 3 are marked here. So like this, you can have the expansion of all the hierarchies that you can see in the company. At any particular team level, if you want to see, you can search. Say particularly if I want to see the name of a person called David, search it. So now I want to look at the team of this person, David Ronco. Just click on it. So this David Ronco is currently not having any team under him. So he is actually under a team of a store manager, Carrie Hill. So he can click on it. So what are the team? So entire team of 4 people, they can see. And if they want to download this, on the right hand top, they have an export option where they can actually download it in the form of a PDF or an image option. All these features are available. And the beauty about this feature is it's a plug and play. You don't even require to do any config for this. It's all about the data maintenance. So your client has 1,000 employees or 10,000 employees or 30,000 employees, whatever. You upload all the employee data with the respective employee and manager linking in the data. That's enough. So once you maintain the data, the pictorial representation of this with all these options to navigate, drag and drop, download, all this is what it comes automatically as a plug and play feature. That's how. So this way, so every user will be able to experience the company info. They can experience the employee file, their own login, the home page, and rest all other tools what you have will be based on the permissions that you are granted. The 3 screens what I showed you, home page, company info, and employee file are going to be available for everyone. The rest of the other tools like compensation, career development, recruiting, all that depends upon what you are authorized in the system. They are all controlled through the permissioning. Okay. And then on the right hand top corner, every employee will have settings, few options over here, in which one thing is they can reset their own password, a basic feature that can be having in any cloud-based solutions. You can have a reset feature that you can reset your own login. That's pretty simple. Next, you will have some settings. So settings is an option where that will enable you to make some settings specific to your login. This is not entire product related. As an end user, I can make some settings of my own login. So going under this, so we have quite a few under that, but to highlight you a couple of at this beginning stage, language. So in this system, currently out of the 43 languages, there are around 13 languages enabled, guys. 13 out of 43. Now it is this enabling 13 out of 43 is what we do in the provisioning system. As I told, activations happen in the provisioning. There we do. So client will tell us. So I want to have these languages to be activated is what client will give us the requirement. Accordingly, we'll activate them. Now when end user is seeing the system, these 13 are shown. Now whichever language the user is comfortable, they can use it in this. I think Ravi or someone asked me this previously. So now I'm using in English, US English. If I'm a person from Korea and if I'm interested to see the system in Korean language, I can choose Korea and just click on switch. You can see the entire system is going to be represented in the Korean content. So the good afternoon message, the quick actions as a heading, all the icons, all the module names here, everything is in the Korean content. So within that 43 languages, whichever language you choose, the system will be showing with all the standard already available translated contents. Okay, and it's not that mandatory you employers to choose one language only, nothing like that. Every 5 minutes, whatever language I wish to, I can keep on changing. So now I'm not interested in Korean. This time I want to see it in Russian. Like that, I can continuously keep on changing the languages into my choice. That way. In English, you observe you have the US English and you also have the UK British English. So two versions of English is also supported that way. So you can choose the language in which you are interested in. And then within the same settings, every individual will also have an option of mobile application. So every employee can set up their own mobile app. So if you see on the left hand bottom, you have mobile as an application. So here you will have some instructions about the way you can set up your mobile app. It might be Android or the iOS, whatever. You can set up it. And it's simple download of mobile app. We know everyone knows how to download a mobile app these days. So to log in into the mobile app, instead of having a traditional approach of entering ID and password, SF comes up with this approach of activate via camera using QR code. So once you download your mobile app, you can actually log in into the mobile app without entering ID password through this feature of QR code, where you can scan the QR code and you can log in with it. So that is an advantage. So just with a scan of this QR code, this login of this lady comes up into your mobile phone. This Emily Clark's login comes into the mobile, where they can do everything over the mobile. Employee can apply leave over mobile. Manager gets the alert on the mobile app, and manager can approve the leave on the mobile app. Like this, almost 70 to 80% of the transactions what we carry out on the web version can also be possible on the mobile app. Okay, that way. So this way, SuccessFactors systems, screens, and navigations are all advanced, and you don't get a feel like you're even working on a HR system. The screens and navigations are everything very intuitive in nature, and SAP invests a lot on the end user, what do you say, the end user experience. So generally, HR systems is what we call them as HCM systems, human capital management as HCM systems we call. But whereas SuccessFactors, SAP call it as HXM. Human experience management is what SAP says. So the end user importance is where SAP concentrates much on. That way. Okay. So let me take a couple of questions. Yeah, Gopal.
So you mentioned that org chart is like a plug and play thing, and we don't have to do much configuration. But is it customizable? We can do some customization on top of that, or not at all possible? It will just adapt the hierarchy maintained by the client.
Hierarchy is all about what data a company has maintained. So there is nothing more customization on it. If you say, example, you report to me, example, let me complete. You report to me, what that is the data maintained in the system, like you are my reportee. That is
Yeah.
what it will reflect here. That's one. So data wise, it's going to be based on what data is maintained in the record level. But here,
Okay.
what customization you can do is, now when you click on this employee, now whatever information you are seeing, the name, the photograph, the title, like this, if you say, in my organization, I don't want to display the photographs, I can have an option to disable.
Okay.
Such kind of options are definitely available.
Okay. It means the hierarchy will be adapted by the like position hierarchy, but what I want to see that we can customize here.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Next, we have Ashwini.
Yeah, hi Suresh. Can you just go to the home page? I have a query with regards to that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, my first question is this quick actions. We can see those icons like delegate my workflows, request type of. First is what is that called? Secondly, for any XYZ company, if they want to automate or add more such icons, or is it these are the only standard ones which this success factors has, how it is managed?
Okay, so each and every icon that you see will be referred as quick actions. That is the name. So each and every block technically has a name. If you ask me, it is a quick action. View chart, view org chart as a quick action.
Yeah.
Manage my goals as a quick action is what we say first. Second,
Okay.
so how many we have? Standard itself, you have almost around 32 quick actions standard. Okay, where what could be shown on the UI is all based on your activations and the permissions that you give to the users. Okay, where at any point of time, maximum 16 quick actions can only be made visible. That's one pointer. Maximum 16, 8 in a row, first row 8, second row 8, 16 as on date, only 16 can be shown on the UI, but total SF delivered are almost around 32. Okay. Now, on top of this 32, still if a client wants to add any additional custom quick actions, that is also possible, where in our session, when we start the customization of the homepage, I will even elaborate on how can we add additional custom quick actions.
Oh.
Sounds good. Next, Shiva.
Suresh, I just wanted to know, is there any difference between integration and implementation?
Yeah, definitely. So you configuring the system and doing the project is called implementation. Okay. When you have to connect the system of SuccessFactors with any other system, like SuccessFactors to Java-based system, .NET system, like that, anything, you need a flow
Okay.
from SF to that system or from that system to SF, any flow of data, exchange of data, that is called integration. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Sounds good. Next up, Pratisha.
Suresh, can you open, could you please open that mobile activation screen?
Yeah, sure. What is this? Don't scan that QR code. Yeah.
So these buttons I can see here, is it like configurations configurable by us, or it is automatically given by SF?
You should give the employees an access to the mobile section or not is a permission you can control. Once you give the mobile, what all things are available is a standard page. Nothing for us to control here.
So with these person can activate on the mobile app.
That's what. So if you are giving the access to this mobile navigation, they can activate their mobile app. If a customer says that no, in my company, I'm not giving the employees a mobile app feature, then this mobile navigation itself is what we'll disable through permissions. They will not see this at all. Okay. Yeah. Great. So this is about the system of the instance, the way how it looks like here. Now I will also show you the provisioning, the other system. So as I told, two systems, we have the provisioning and instance. So this is the instance that we have seen. How does the provisioning look like? Let me open, where the key point to remember about provisioning every time is a provisioning system can be accessible only by a certified SuccessFactors consultant. Minimum in one module, you should be certified to get an access to the provisioning system. That's a key point. So that's where the importance of certification exists in the SuccessFactors career. Okay. I'm just logging into the provisioning in the background. Give me a moment. Yeah. So now this is how the provisioning system looks like. And now as a consultant, if I'm parallelly working on multiple projects, so here multiple line items come up. So what all projects a individual is working, they all come up here, where each and every line item here represents one particular project gentleman. So out of these four, now example, the first project related is what if I'm dealing with. So I can just click on the hyperlink and I can open that particular company specific provisioning page. Like that, clicking on the hyperlink, the client specific provisioning page will open. So whatever that kind client specific activations I have to do and all, I'll do in that page. But even before that, some important point to highlight is this ID. For every project, there will be one dedicated new unique ID that will be allocated by SAP. So now if I'm owning a company, I have 5,000 employees, whatever. If I went to SAP and if I purchase the software of SuccessFactors, for my company, for my project, one dedicated ID is what SAP will automatically generate and give. It's not me to choose. It's a auto generated number that will be allocated for every client that way. So this is a unique representation of your project. Just click on the hyperlink and get inside. And this will be a client specific provisioning page, in which all that activations that we are talking about will be in the very first line item called company settings. Company settings is a page. When you go for this navigation, you will be able to see all the module related activations that you are required to do. Just go under this. And as I told, provisioning is all about checkboxes. You see, starting from here, from the performance management as a first module to be activated, from here you have all the checkboxes. Each and every line item is one checkbox, and each and every checkbox is one activation. So you have hundreds and hundreds of such down the line. But you need not know about all the hundreds of checkboxes. Per module, around an average of 15 checkboxes is what you should be aware of. Per module, 15, 1-5. That's it. So now we are learning 3 modules, 3 into 15, 45 activation points is what you will be maximum required to deal with that way. So what are that module specific and what is the meaning of each of them? We'll get to know down the line. And here's the example. If I want to activate performance management module, just the first checkbox. If I want to activate compensation management as a module, here there is one checkbox. Like that, for every module, you have one respective checkbox activation. And once you enable this compensation management, within that, what features and functionalities you have to enable, disable again, is what you have a further classification. All these checkboxes that way. That is module level and the module features level. Then languages we discussed about. So here you have a section called language packs, where all the 43 languages that SuccessFactors is supporting today are listed here. Now in this, so which languages you want to enable as per the client requirement, the US English, the British English, Spanish, French, Canadian French, like this, all the language names are there. Even you can see the Arabic for Middle East, Hindi for India, all that are there. So it's just a checkbox that you have to deal with. So this way, provisioning is all about enabling the checkboxes of the different modules, languages, features and all. No configuration. Okay, you are not doing any configuration here, just enabling. But these are crucial things. Without these activations, you can't do the rest of the configurations. So the first thing is to, when you start the project, these activations have to be made. Then only you can do the rest of the configurations. So that is how the provisioning has its minimum role, but crucial role. Okay. And the look and feel of the provisioning system need not be that great. Obviously, I agree. So it's not as good as instance, but provisioning is only a system accessible by consultants. Client is never going to see this. So that's why SAP is not investing too much on the provisioning look and feel. Every time they invest on the instance side of the system's look and feel that way. And then now coming into the instance system, I've spoken about now till this point, whatever I spoke, even in the previous demo level, also people who have joined the demo, you might have observed all these discussions, guys. Now to get up to the next level things, what are into the regular topics level, I want to explore you with few options. Like now, when I'm logged into this user Emily Clark profile, here I navigate into, if I want to get into her own profile. So my employee file is what I click. So as a logged in user, I see my own profile, Emily Clark. But if we want to look at others' profiles, any other random person in the company, I can just start typing the name here on the top search area. So David, if I want to search with David, in the name of David, how many people are there? All their profiles will come up. So as on date, there are 3 people with the name David matching. So they are here. So if I want to look at any of their profile, just click on their name. That's it. System will open up their profile in front of me with all their information and all. So now David Drew is the name of the employee with his profile picture with different sections of his employee information it is shown. But this way, when you are visiting others' profiles, what sections of information you can see on their profile is what it can be absolutely controlled through permissions. So currently I being an admin user, Emily Clark as an admin user, she logged in. That's why she's getting the full access even to the salary information of the employee, all that. But generally, as an end user, if a general employee, if I log in and if I look for others, I can see minimum very basic information like his name, his department, his location, his reporting manager. Such kind of minimum information will only be exposed. The rest all will be controlled through permissions. So for that permissioning, we have a dedicated topic we'll discuss most probably next week. We'll come to the topic of permissioning. So how does the role-based permissions as a concept works in SuccessFactors, we'll be discussing. So that way, if I want to look at my own profile, I click on my employee file. When I have to look at others' profiles, I just type their name and I can get their profiles. I can open with a single click the target person's profile. This is one way. One more feature we'll have is something about proxy. On the right hand top corner, you have proxy as a feature, guys. What is this proxy is? You can get into the login of others, not just their profile. You can get into their login without even having their ID password. You can get into the other person's login. Proxy now, if I type the name as say the same person, David Drew, click on OK. So now the system is going to open in front of me as if I have logged in with David login. I don't have the ID, I don't have his password, anything, but just by typing his name as David Drew, now the system is whatever system is showing me here is David Drew's login. So here on the right hand top, you see Emily Clark on behalf of David. It says that Emily Clark is now currently logged in on behalf of David. And the entire screen, what it is showing me here is David's screen. Now, if I click on my employee file, it is going to open David's profile because system is treating David as logged in. So it's David's profile opening with what all information I see, everything is David. Now, whatever I do here will be claimed as David has done that. If I set a goal, I'm setting David's goals. If I'm doing a performance rating, it is David's performance form rating. That way, you can get into the login of others and get full control of their login using this proxy feature. Proxy. But obviously, this is so sensitive. So this will not be given to an end user. This will be every time available only at a consultant. We, the consultants, will have it, or the client side super admins. 1 or 2 people in the top management level, some super admin level people only will have this. The rest of the general employees will never be given with it. It is a very sensitive feature. So with a single click, they can get the full access on the target person's profile. They can even apply resignation on my name. Okay, so that way it's so sensitive. So it will be every time controlled only to the consultants who are working on the configurations, and the client who is going to, on the client side, super administrators, so like 1 or 2 super admins, they will have it. But what is the purpose of it? Why do we require it? Is that in some situations, if I have to talk it in the business requirements, what is the requirement for this feature at the end user, and the client side people, if I have to give you one example. So if there are some things that are pending on one particular person's inbox, so he has to action some items. So based on that, there are many other subsequent items that are dependent on. So we have to wait for that person's input or decision or an action, something, but that person is currently not available. He's in a situation like suddenly he has gone into some sick leave, or he's on a business travel, or he's stuck somewhere and due to anything. So we need that to be actioned quickly, immediately, at any cost. We don't have a situation to nominate someone else again and all that. So someone has to immediately get into his login and get that activity done. In such rare cases, administrators can get into the login of others and they can get that activity done. So when someone else is coming into your profile and doing it, everything is captured with an audit, guys. So against every section you see on the top, you will have last modified by. So last updated by which person with the date and timestamp, everything will be collected. So even in the proxy that will work, and in the proxy, it will clearly highlight that it is being done by Emily on behalf of David. It doesn't say Emily done it. It doesn't say David done it. It says Emily on behalf of David is what a proper audit it will be captured for any reporting tomorrow. If you want to take an audit report, that will be everything available. That's a good feature. Next, why a consultant will require it is actually in fact very much requirement for consultants only, because tomorrow if you are doing some testing about a workflow process testing where employee applies a leave, it goes for first level manager approval, second level HR approval. That's a 2-level approval. You have to test it. So now if you have to test it, first you have to log in as an employee, apply a leave, log out, again log in as manager, approve, again log out, again log in as HR. Like this, multiple logouts, logins are required. Instead of that, if you use this proxy feature as a consultant, it will save a lot of time in your testing process. You can just switch between the logins. You are not every time completely logging out, completely logging in and all. You can easily switch between the logins. This is one good advantage. Second, when tomorrow you are in a support project, example, the project is completed, the client has started using the system. During the usage of the system, clients will get a lot of issues. They will say something is not working. They have a bug in the system like that. So then there will be some consultants who will be supporting the project. Once the project is after a go live, that is called support project. During that support project, if someone raises a ticket saying that this particular feature is not working, when I click on the button, it is not working, like that, some ticket they have raised. If you want to understand what is the actual issue, you can proxy into the login of that person who raised the issue. You can proxy into his account. Whatever is activity the person is trying to do, you can go into his login and you can experience it. So when you go into his login and you try to experience what is the issue, you will be able to easily, quickly resolve the issue. So that's the way consultants will have more advantage of having proxy now feature. Whereas the admin side, whereas the client side, it is only the super admins who will use this, not the general employees. That's the proxy feature. So you can get into the proxy of anybody by just click on proxy now, type their name and click on OK. Their login will open. Once you're done with the activity, you want to come back to your own login, you can just click on become self. If you click on become self, you will be back to your own login. So now here in this current case, so we are in the Emily's login, back into Emily's login. You see this? Emily again. That way. So this is how system will give you a good feature of proxy, which will be every time restricted only to the consultants and the super admin level guys. That's one feature. Next, being in this session 1 today, I would like to show you guys a little config activity, a very small basic cosmetic config activity to start with, in which on this first page of SuccessFactors, the home page, when we start the project, the minimum starting activity will be to replace the SuccessFactors logo with client logo. Once the project has started, client expects to see their logo instead of SF standard logo. So how can we update the client logo is what we'll start discussion. That's one first basic cosmetic config activity I would like to start in this day 1. But before that, let me take some questions. Few questions in the chat. Let me look into that. Varun, for your question, can we also search by the designation of the employees? So in the top search area, it is only that you can search with the names, not with the designations. So if you want to search with the positions, the option is the previous one where I've shown you the company info by the hierarchy of the employees. Here you have another one called second tab on the top called position org chart. Normal org chart is there, which is about the employee titles. The second one is a position org chart, in which the position titles will be a context here. So here you have the list of all the positions in the company, different positions. So if you want to look for a specific position called business partnership manager, so this is based on title, you can search here, position title. So the business partnership manager as a position for this, currently Nancy as a person is working on it. You'll get to know like this. If you click on this, system will open Nancy's profile like this. So this is one way you can look for the people based on their position titles. And then yeah, Amol, for your question, does SF has a dotted line reporting? Yes, we also have it. A dotted line reporting is what we call it as matrix reporting in SuccessFactors. Matrix reporting, where here you see, so you can see matrix reports or direct reports or all the reports, you have the respective selections. So matrix reporting is like an additional reporting apart from my regular reporting. If there is any additional reporting that I do in the company, that is what we call it as dotted reporting or matrix relationship, gentlemen. Okay. So to give you an example about that matrix concept, so example in an IT environment, if you consider an IT environment, IT company, when you join a company, you will be under one manager. That is one reporting manager. That's one. Now within a year, example, in the first 6 months, you are working in one project. You will have one project manager for that project to whom you report to. So your one hardline manager, reporting manager is there constantly available. And for the first 6 months, Jan to June, you are working in one project, you have a project manager also. So that is an additional reporting you can have as a dotted reporting. So if you are going on leave, you have to inform your reporting manager. You also have to inform your matrix manager that way. For the second half of the year, if you are working in a second different project from July to December, now the matrix manager is changing, but your reporting manager is the same. So that way, so there will be different reasons why we use additional reporting relationship like matrix. This is one of the example. So now I am not sure where is the matrix relationship. If there are any employees maintained with a matrix relationship, I'm not sure. I have to check that to give you an example, Amol. Yeah, here it is. So this person, Jonathan Lambert, is having one matrix also. Let me just click on it. Yeah, so this out of he has 5 people, 5 reportees. Jonathan is having a team of 5 people. Along with the 5, there is one more sixth one dotted. You see, Marcus Hoff is a person who is reporting to the same Jonathan, but as a matrix reportee, not a direct reportee. That's a dotted block highlighted like this. If you see this that way. So SuccessFactors supports both the direct hierarchy and also the matrix hierarchy as well. Sounds good. Next question. Yeah, so in the proxy, it's a question about once a person is proxying into others' login, will the target person be notified about that someone has proxied into account? As on date, it is not available, guys. So once I'm proxying into other account, they are not getting any notification. So that is a request that has been raised by a few customers, and SAP is going to bring up that update in the future releases. As I told, every 6 months, SAP will come with the new features and functionalities. In that, any of the update, we can expect it. But as on date, so the target person being notified that someone came into my login is not currently available. Okay. That is one. Next question. Okay, some basic project management related question by one of the person. So when we have a project manager in the company, whether he will be on the client side or the IT company side. So that is a question. So now example, if Coca-Cola is the client, IBM is the IT company. You are working for IBM. So from on the Coca-Cola side, client side, they will have one project manager. Now this side in the IT department, now in the IT company as IBM side, here also we'll have one project manager, guys. So two side, client side project manager will be there. This IT company side also the project manager will be there. Both the sides they will be present. So you will be reporting to your internal company level IBM project manager. Okay. So to deal with the things, what's happening, how is the project happening and all to track it, client side also they will have a project manager that way. Next. So there is a question, will SAP SF have the solution for rostering and scheduling? So the rostering and all is basically part of the time related solution. So in the time management of SuccessFactors, officially SF is not a rostering software. We don't have rostering as a default functionality, but there is one more way of a workaround way of handling it through a concept called temporary work schedule changes. So once we assign one dedicated working schedule to the employee, that he works for these days of the week, these many hours of a week, all that schedule is assigned already. To make changes on top of it is where we have temporary work schedule as a concept through which we handle that. But a dedicated nominated tool called rostering is not within SF as on date. Okay. That is about the question that one of the participants asked. That's it. I hope I have covered almost all the questions in the chat. So this is about the feature of proxy to highlight. And now, as I told, I'll be taking you through the logo upload, gentlemen. So now the very first cosmetic config activity start with. If you want to upload a logo, just simply you can search with a keyword as logo in the top search area. When you start with this keyword as logo as a search, so what all different options are there to deal with the logo will come up here. That is an advantage. You need not memorize all the config places in SF. What you want to do, just search for it. Okay, so now if I want to do the logo, I've given this logo keyword, few options have come. I want to deal with permissions in the system. Just search with the keyword as permission. How many different tools are there to deal with the permissions? They all come up and you can choose the relevant one. That way, it's not complete full sentence. I need not memorize also, just a keyword that will bring up all the relevant actions. So this top search area can be used to search for employees. You just give the name of an employee, it can bring employee name results. If you search with this config activity related keywords, that config related activities also it can bring. It can be used for searching for people and actions, both. Now this logo, when I search, it is bringing me the upload company logo as a one. So this is the one where I can deal with for uploading the logo. And this activity looks pretty simple, guys. So here you just have to choose the logo of the client and you can just click on save. That's it. It looks pretty simple. Just choose the logo and save. Activity wise, it is simple, but you should have some technical specifications to be followed. So here in the pop-up, you see, it will talk about some specifications of the image that you have to upload here, like to fit into this rectangular window on the left-hand top, there should be some specific dimensions of the image. You can't upload image of different sizes. A specific dimension to fit into that rectangular window, you should be having one logo. So that specifications to be followed, the dimensions wise. Next, format. If you see the end of second line, it is talking about a format like PNG, .png, .gif, GIF, .jpg. Like this, there are three formats. An image of these formats can only be fit into that upload. So any other formats images can't be loaded here. That is one. And the memory size, memory wise, the file size should not be more than 1 MB. The highest size should be 1 MB, not more than that. And dimensions wise, the last line you see, it is 210 by 40 pixel. 210 by 40 pixel dimension is what it will take. So not it highest, that is the dimension. You can't grow beyond that. So we to fit into this rectangular window. Now the point is, when you are doing the project and you're going to load a client logo here, first thing, do not go to Google. Generally what we do, go to Google, search as Coca-Cola, I get a Google image, Coca-Cola logo, download and upload here is what we try to do. But that is not recommended, because the logos of the customers are the trademark symbols of their organizations. You should not tamper them. So once you go to Google and search for Coca-Cola, I can tell you there will be 10 different logos, guys. Horizontal logos, vertical logos, red background with a white text, white background with a red text. There can be different Coca-Cola logos. But officially a trademark one will be only one. So that is what you have to take it from the client. Drop an email to the client side team saying that we need your organization logo, an official logo, to be uploaded in the system. And with these specifications, you have to email them these specifications, the dimensions, the image size, the image format, all this. So they have to provide the logo with exact these specifications to us and we upload. We don't get into the business of changing the extension of the format, resizing the image, all that. We should not work on it. Every organization will have their internal corporate branding teams and all. So they will do that activity and share us the image within these specifications and we upload it. That is the recommended process. So having this specification knowledge is important. Just uploading this logo is a basic thing. Anyone can do it. So you should follow these specifications as a key point. And now matching those specifications, I should have a logo of one customer here, like a famous toothpaste brand in India, Colgate, as we know. So I have the Colgate logo here to upload. Let me take that. So to fit into exact that dimensions, I have this image and it is loaded, Colgate. That's it. So that is exactly the fitting into this rectangular window over here, which is within the format and the size and all. So when I save it, it will be successfully loaded. So once you upload a logo, for that logo to start reflecting on the left-hand top corner, you have to log out and log in back. That is important. So you have to log out and log in back to observe that change. So let me log out. Let me re-log in. In few very rare cases, guys, sometimes even if you log out and log in, sometimes it doesn't show in your system. But if your colleague is opening the system, they might observe it, but you still see the old logo. That happens sometimes. That will be because of the browser cache memory and all. So when that happens, that you updated but still the old logo is showing, you just have to go to your browser settings and just delete your cache memory and relaunch the browser. It will start reflecting. That is one troubleshooting way. But in our case, it is properly loaded. So exactly into that rectangular window on the top, the Colgate logo has been loaded. Like that, the client logo can be brought up into. So once you load in every page, whatever page you are using, on the left hand top corner, the Colgate logo, the new logo what you have loaded will appear. That is the way. So this is one basic activity to start with, and much more configurations we'll see down the line. And here, so the time we have, yeah, we have 20 more minutes, good. So I'll take one more topic here to discuss about, which is the updates. As I've been telling you about some updates that will happen every 6 months. In the month of May and in the month of November, we come up with new features and functionalities continuously when we discuss. So the updates are of two different types, gentlemen. So let me just write it down on the screen. So all the updates are of two types. One is universal updates, universal, and admin opt-in. Universal and admin opt-in means, so there will be few features which doesn't ask your permission. They automatically start reflecting in the system. So for example, today SAP is making the update. Tomorrow morning when you come and open the system and see, automatically that new feature will appear. That doesn't require any permission, because that is not going to impact any of your existing processes, your company's policies or anything. It's not going to impact. A cosmetic thing will be universal, automatically updated. But few things which will have a impact on the process flows of your company, the screens and the end user experience. So you feel like an employee might be suddenly confused if a new screen comes up suddenly in the morning, and something that will have some additional configuration step required, all such things is what will be admin opt. So admin opt features are those the administrators can have a look at the documentation of the update. They can look at what is this new feature going to bring in, what is the change it's going to bring in, all that. And if they are okay with it, then only they will click on the update button and update it that way. So few are universal and few are admin opt. So every 6 months, once in 6 months, when the new features are updating, guys, so you will have a email communication from SAP. The client will have a communication at least 1 month in advance saying that, so on this particular date, during this time, the updates will be made in the system. During that time, the system will not be available. So for a period of between 4 to 7 hours, the system will be not available, guys. And that downtime, that is a downtime we say. And SAP will make sure the downtime is in the weekends, in the midnight hours. So between Friday night to Sunday morning is where in the weekends and in the midnight times they plan the downtime. So maximum highest 7 hours is the highest time. Mostly within 3 to 4 hours, the updates will be done. So that is how a communication will be sent, and the client can also plan their activities so that at this time the system will not be available in the night time and all. They'll plan it and the updates will run in the system. So universal updates are something that will automatically be made in the system, and admin opt updates are those that will come and appear within the system in a tool called Upgrade Center. If you search with the keyword as upgrade, there is a tool called Upgrade Center. So all the updates of this release, whatever are SAP deployed, will present here, and they are again classified into the importance wise: important updates, recommended upgrades, and optional upgrades. That way, they just classify the importance, in which you can even filter them module wise. The SuccessFactors basic platform related things. Next, specific to a module like EC module related, recruitment module related, like this, module specific also, you have the things that you can filter. So in this system, EC related, important and upgrade, there is nothing pending, everything is up to date. Optional updates, there are some features. If client wants to activate, they can. It is not going to bring too much value addition. Just a additional button on a screen or a drop down feature in the screen, something additional thing that can be referred to. So if a client wants to get it done, they can just go for learn more and upgrade now. Under this learn more, they will have some description about what is that feature going to bring up. So this is a very basic one, just a few lines are there, but sometimes a huge entire page text will be there from top to bottom, entire text that will explain that feature will be there. If a client is interested to have it, they can come down, just look at any necessary prerequisite features and any prerequisite other things to be done. And if they are everything okay, they click on upgrade now. That's it. With a single click, within minutes, once I click on this upgrade now button, within minutes or sometimes within seconds, the upgrade will be done. So we are not going to do any config for that. Just an update button is what you have to click. The way you go to your mobile phones and you update your mobile OS, as simple as that. just click on upgrade button. That feature is enabled that way. So these are called admin opt, where administrator have to decide whether they want that feature or not. Okay, that is how they do. And all these things, what we are doing now, example, when I say in the November, they are releasing new features. In October, 1 month advance, in October itself, they release it in the development system, in the lower environment, in the development testing system. SAP will release it 1 month in advance itself. If client wants to look at that feature, they want to activate it and try it, test it and all, they can do it 1 month in advance itself in the lower system, like development system, testing system somewhere. If they feel that that is good, now in November, when officially in the production system and SAP has released that feature, they will activate it here in the production that way. So it's not a surprise thing directly in the production. 1 month in advance, they are releasing it in the testing system also for you to test it that way. So this way, all the admin opt features, what the client wants to enable, will be listed here with a module wise filter and the importance wise. Now, once a client has activated a feature, they are getting a negative feedback. All the employees are not happy with it. Everybody is raising a concern. They say that the old screen is good, the old navigation is good. After this update, something is started stop working. Like this, when you get a negative feedback, you can undo that upgrade. You can undo that. So here on the top, you have view recently completed upgrades as a link on the top. When you go for this view recently completed upgrades, so what all updates were made in the system from years together, that will be listed here in the system. Just 4 are shown. So here on the extreme right, you will have an undo button to undo that. But undoing a upgrade will be available only up to 30 days. Once you update a feature, within 30 days only you can undo that. Beyond that, you cannot. So beyond 30 days, if you want to disable it, you need a consultant support. So till now, it is an admin. The client side admin people can directly do it. So HR administrator and the client directly, they can do it. They are not dependent on consultant till this point. But if they have crossed the 30 days limit and now they want to deactivate, that has to be done something in the provisioning level. For that, as provisioning is accessible by only consultant, then they need a consultant support that way. So this is how the upgrade center as a tool will function, where I can update the features or I can undo the features, which are admin opt. Admin opt is client has to choose them. Universal are those that will automatically come. You need not even specifically look for it. It will be automatically be activated in the system by the time today night, if there is an downtime in the system, they will be updated. Next day morning, by the time you come and open the system, you will start seeing those new things that way. Okay. And what are those automatic updates? Also, SAP will release a documentation, guys. So they'll, when 1 month in advance, when they are giving that in the lower system and all, they release the documentation saying that these are the universal updates coming this time. These are the admin opt updates coming this time. They release a detailed documentation also. Okay. Let me look at some questions. Is this upgrade option can only use only consultant or hierarchy, right? Varun, I did not understand, but about whatever I understand. So the point is, this feature of upgrading is available to the client themselves. They can do that updates. If they ask consultants to help with it, consultants can also do it that way. Okay, but end user, a general end user, an employee will not have it. Some nominated administrators on the client side will have it. It's not whoever wants to update, they activate whatever. So the client side, some nominated administrators in a company of 1,000 employees, 10,000 employees, whatever. So there will be 1 or 2 nominated administrators who will take care of this system related, what to be enabled, not to enable, all that. So they do the decision making and they activate it that way, not every user. Once they activate it, it will start reflecting on all the employees of the company. How many thousands of employees they have. In all the thousands of employees login, that update what was made by the admin will be visible that way. Excellent. Next. Okay. So when I just talk about this testing system and all, there are a few questions around that. Let me explain that, gentlemen. So any software, any IT's product that you're working on, definitely you will have a landscape of systems. That's not just one system. You will have this way a landscape. If you see on my screen, development system, testing system, production system. This way a landscape of 3 systems, 3 environments is what we'll have. So when we start the project, we as a consultant, we do all the configurations in the development level, and we do our own internal testing as a consultant. Now, once all the configurations are done, and when it is time for the client to do the testing at the client side, we copy all the configurations from the development to the testing environment. So in the testing environment, client will get the access to the system where they can log in and they can actually look at all the scenarios, like whatever processes they want to test, hiring, promotion, transfers, everything. They do the testing. Once client is satisfied with everything, or if they have any issues, anything, they'll inform the consultant. Consultant will fix that. So once everything is fixed, now it is ready to move the configurations to the final live system, the production system, the real-time system where the end users will use the system actually. Now the client side, thousands of employees, all of them will start using the system. And this is the main system where the actual hiring, promotions, transfers, the actual live transactions happen. So that way, 3-system landscape is what we'll have. Development to testing, testing to production. That way we move the configurations. How do we move the configurations is pretty simple. SuccessFactors has a very easy to use tool actually called Configuration Transport Center. Using that transport center as a tool, we can just move the configurations from one system to the other very easily. Okay. And how does that tool work and all? I'll show you the documentation down the line. So this is how you have the systems. And whenever the client has purchased the SuccessFactors license, SAP is going to give them all these three different systems as a part of the license cost. By default, 3 systems is what they are getting. If a client expects to have multiple testing systems, not just one testing system, like T1, T2, T3, like that, multiple testing systems, if they expect, they can get it with additional cost. So one development, one testing, and one production system is what client will be generally getting as a default package for the license what they are paying. If they say they want multiple additional testing systems, there will be a certain cost what the client has to pay to SAP, and SAP will definitely give them how many different systems they want. SAP is ready to give based on chargeable. So what are the charges and all, that depends upon the sales. That is some sales discussions. We need not get into it, but this is how it is. So some companies do multi rounds of testing round 1, testing round 2. So for every round, they expect to have it in a different system. Okay, they say testing system, pre-production system, like the different names they call. So this is how it is. This is about the landscape of the systems. Okay. And then there is a question. Can you explain in what event the customer will undo a upgrade? So undoing update, that's what, as I told you, it's a client feedback, the end user feedback. They did not like the navigation. So the example, previous screen navigation is very simpler. Now it looks a little complicated, they feel, or it is like because of this new feature that you have activated, something is not working. When I click on the save button, a pop-up error is coming, or data is not saving due to anything. It can be a product issue from SAP. When they release that new feature, there might be a bug. Sometimes it happens in your Android phone updates and iOS updates. Sometimes you get some updates, bugs will be there when people raise it. Apple will bring up the updated version and all. Like that, sometimes there can be some updates that are creating an issue in the existing config. So in that case is where client can have a reason to undo that. So, and when we undo, we also intimate the SAP team that this is a issue that we are facing. That's why we are not able to use this feature. So they will look into that. Whatever is a fix to be made, SAP will release that global across the world. Globally, they release that update. So for that, there will be no downtime. For that 1 or 2 bug fixes, if that's happening, there is no downtime. Automatically on the go, that updates will be made over internet. Okay. That is about upgrade center, guys. And then, yeah, I guess we have discussed a little more topics today. So in the tomorrow's agenda, guys, we'll be looking into the activities of like a main important topic of implementation methodology. So now that we got introduced into the portfolio of SuccessFactors, the systems in SuccessFactors, got a high level understanding about the navigations and all. Now you should also have an understanding about the life cycle of a project. When you say that there are 3 different systems that you are going through, development, quality, all this. So what is a life cycle? So right at the beginning to the ending, what are the stages of the project? What are the important activities that you carry out in each and every stage? So to say that this stage is completed, what are the key pointers that the project management will be checking, so that the project life cycle and implementation methodology is what we say. That is what an important agenda item that we'll start with in the tomorrow's discussion. Okay. This is for now for today from my end. If anybody has any other queries, you can raise your hand and we can discuss. Yeah, Pritisha.
Suresh, how to give the testing systems credentials if suppose if I'm a manager, and
Okay.
how to give the employee the testing system credentials.
You mean to the consultants or the client?
Yeah, for example, like somebody, someone is my project manager and I have joined somewhere, and he has to provide me the credential for testing system.
Okay. So it's nothing different like so. The point is the way how you get the access to the development system or testing or production is a common way. So there is one dedicated topic on the day how the way how you get the access to the systems. Most probably tomorrow itself I'll even get into that. In that you'll understand. So how do we get the access to this environment of all the 3 systems? Provisioning side or the instance side, how do you get it? What are the approvals you require? Where you have to apply in the system? All that is a discussion that will come in. Okay. So it's not that one manager is going to give you the access. So it's just an approval they give. So with that approval, you have to approach SAP and raise a request, and SAP will release the access. All that activities will be there. All that is what we'll discuss in the tomorrow's agenda. Okay. And then okay, there is a very good question, guys. How important is to learn SAP HCM before SuccessFactors? So this is one some confusing question few people have in the market. Let me clarify it, guys. SAP HCM is a old HR solution from SAP, which is existing in the markets in 1970s. And now in few years, SAP is going to stop the support for SAP HCM. Now it is SuccessFactors, which is another HR product from SAP. Now any customer going and asking SAP for a HR software, SAP is going to sell SuccessFactors license, not the SAP HCM. So there are 2 different products. SAP HCM is an old product and SuccessFactors is a new one. First thing. Next, should I know SAP HCM knowledge before I getting into SuccessFactors? Not at all. They are 2 different separate softwares. So SuccessFactors is not like HCM 2.0. No, HCM is a separate HR software. It has a different config, different architecture. SuccessFactors is a different software, completely different one. So learning SuccessFactors knowledge is completely independent here. It has no dependency with the HCM. Okay. So HCM is something you can just completely get rid of. It is only SuccessFactors what you have to learn now. Nothing dependency with SAP HCM. Okay, even the people who are in the SAP HCM field till date are migrating into SuccessFactors. They are upskilling to SuccessFactors, learning this, and because they don't have job market in HCM anymore. SAP HCM is ending. SAP has already announced by 2027 they are going to they are going to stop the support for SAP HCM projects. So it's only SuccessFactors the future. Okay, that's the point. And there is one more question. What is the difference between functional and techno-functional consultant? So in SuccessFactors, by default, it is techno-functional, guys. In the old SAP HCM, you used to have a difference. Like technical consultant means who does the coding. Functional means a person who deals with the customer and designs the project. So that way you have functional technical difference. And a person who knows both the things is called a techno-functional, is what we say in old SAP HCM. But in SuccessFactors, we don't have any programming coding involved at all. So the role, whatever we have itself, is a functional role. So because of the different technical aspects we already know, people also call it as a techno-functional role. That's it. But no programming involved. So SuccessFactors wise, if you have to say, it's a functional role. Okay. And then, great. That's it. Fine, gentlemen. So this is all for the day. That's a good set of questions, healthy questions. Appreciate everyone for all the questions. That way, when you ask a question and you get an answer, others will learn. From others' question and answers, you will learn. That's a good dialogue of questions that we appreciated. And today, a little bit more questions is what I have answered, guys. But generally, once we get into the subjects and the topics are getting to a module level discussions and all, the number of questions will definitely reduce. This is expected in the initial first 2-3 sessions, because it's everybody is new to this. They will have a little more questions, but down the line the number of questions comes and that I have to answer will also reduce. Obviously, I can say that on my experience. Sounds good. So this is all for now, guys. Thanks for your time on this weekend. So let's connect back tomorrow same time again, the day 2, where we'll be looking into the implementation methodology of the product, and we'll continue the discussions.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks, sir.
Suresh.
Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you. Have a
Thank you,
nice day.
Suresh.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Suresh.
Hi guys, good morning. Suresh here.
Good morning, Suresh.
Good morning, Suresh.
Good morning.
Morning, guys. Morning, one and all. So guys, in our session yesterday, the day 1 is where we started having an understanding about the SuccessFactors portfolio of solutions. So what are the modules that we have, and in that particularly the curriculum, what we are focusing on, the top 3 modules of SuccessFactors in the name of Employee Central, Recruiting, and Performance Management. And before we get into those modules, the way we start with some introduction to mastery level things, which gives you the foundational knowledge, and then at the end of the program, we also look into the reporting part, is what we have seen. And we started having an understanding about the cloud model of SuccessFactors, the way the SuccessFactors being called as a cloud-based solution, what does it actually makes a difference when compared to any other solutions in the market. So the cloud-based approach in which we remotely host the data and access the data on demand whenever we require is what a cloud model, or also called as SaaS model. And that remote locations where the client databases are hosted are called data centers. And we have around 15 data centers where SAP is operating the global customer databases today across the globe, is what we have discussed. And also on some context of the advantages that we see with the cloud-based solutions as well, in terms of the cost effectiveness for in terms of the maintenance of the hardware, the licensing model, the frequent updates that we get with the applications, and the way how we have this product accessible across the devices. So over the internet, any point of time, anywhere you can log in and you can access it over the mobile apps. You have it supported in both Android and iOS version, is what we have discussed. And then we had an introduction into the systems. So what are the systems of SuccessFactors that we work as a consultant during the project implementation, which is the provisioning and instance. So provisioning is a backend, we say, where only the consultant, only a certified SuccessFactors consultant will be accessing that system. And that is a system where you do all the activations. Provisioning level, we do not do any configurations. It's all about the activations that we do in the provisioning. That is one we have discussed. And then we have the instance system where we do the actual configurations. The 85% of your project work is all concentrated on the instance side of the system. That is one we have discussed, where in the instance, you have the access to the end users also. So once the project has been completed, after say 6 months or 1 year, you have done the project, and now you hand over the project to the client. So the employees of the client will start using the SuccessFactors system on the instance side. That is the thing. So this way we have the 2 systems, and we also had a look and feel of the systems, how they look like. Already yesterday we have got a chance to look at them, where so every individual in the company, from the basics, basic general employee in the company, followed by leaders, the executive management, head of the departments, HRs, everybody can have a login into the SuccessFactors system, and that depends upon the access levels. So what they perform in the system depends upon the access levels actually. So everything is controlled through permissioning. So this is about the introduction about the system that we had, and we had an opportunity to look into few navigations. So how does the profile look like? How does the org chart look like? We have seen, and we also had a chance to look at the provisioning system where we do few activations and all. the look and feel of a provisioning system, which is all about just making checkbox activations. So this is a summary of the discussions we had in the yesterday's session primarily. And in our agenda today, we are going to start discussing on the implementation methodology of SuccessFactors. So when you involve in a SuccessFactors implementation project, so the way how you have the phases of the project covered, right from beginning to ending, all the stages of implementation is what an implementation methodology we say. So that is important that you have to know. Along with the technical knowledge, you should also know the overview of the project life cycle in a SuccessFactors implementation, what happens in each and every stage on an overall. So that's what we are going to focus now. So that's the agenda we start with, and later we'll be looking into the day one activities. Whenever you are allocated to a project, what are your day one activities of SuccessFactors implementation? Even that we'll be looking at. So before that, any questions from anyone on the previous topics?
Yeah, Suresh. Surya here.
Yeah, so yeah, please go ahead.
So we were discussing yesterday about the activations, right? Regarding the activations, are there any default activations we use when choosing a module, or will it depend on the scenario to scenario?
Yeah, so definitely there will be some minimum mandatory activations irrespective of the client's requirement. If they say they are wanting this module, so minimum mandatory activations will definitely be there. On top of it, client specific, whether they are looking for this particular feature or not, this particular functionality or not. So some additional customization will also be there. So that is for each module. What are those set of activations? We'll get to know in our down the line discussions.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay, sounds good. And now, gentlemen, to start with this activate methodology. So SuccessFactors implementation methodology is what we call as SAP Activate. That's a recommended methodology from SAP, in which it is basically cut down into 4 different stages. It comprises of 4 important stages from prepare to deploy. So prepare, explore, realize, and deploy are the 4 important stages of this implementation methodology that we have. So we should now have an understanding of what is the consultant's role or what happens in each and every phase of the project. In that, if we have to start discussing from the prepare phase, so that is a phase where, frankly, consultant is not involved. The prepare phase is all about a management level. Okay, so now in the example, Coca-Cola as a company is going to implement SuccessFactors, and they approach some IT companies, Accenture, Wipro, IBM, Deloitte. They go to some IT companies. So now once this discussions have started, so the IT companies will give their proposal of the project, like in how many months they can deliver the project, in what costing they can do the project. Okay, all that details will be there. So in this process, once Coca-Cola has finalized one vendor, so whether they have to go with Accenture, Wipro, Deloitte, whatever in their costing calculations and all, once they are finalized. So example, if we decide with IBM. So now IBM is doing the project for Coca-Cola. So now the project agreements, the SOW documents, which we call as scope of work. SOW is called a scope of work document and all, will be finalized in the prepare phase, in which, so for which countries are we implementing, which modules are we implementing, how many language packs we have to activate, and any other discussions in terms of the timeline of the project, how many consultants are going to be deployed. So in terms of the timeline, when is the start date of the project, the testing period, the go live period, all this is going to be finalized in the prepare phase, the documentation level. So each and everything is going to be agreed between the client and the implementation partner. So implementation partner means these IT companies. So that's an agreement. The documentation happens at a management level. So that's where consultant is not yet involved in that stage. So once all the documentation is finalized and they are starting the project, that's where the explore phase starts with. So explore phase is where we have to have the requirement gathering done. So that's where the consultants will be introduced. So how many modules are being implemented? For each module, minimum 1 separate consultant will be allocated, gentlemen. Remember that. So if there are 3 modules implemented, 3 consultants will be there. If there are 5 modules, 5 consultants minimum. Per module, if they want to assign more than 1 consultant, that's okay. That can still be done. But for each module, 1 individual consultant will definitely be assigned in the project. And that's where we have the explore phase. in which these consultants who are allocated to the project will start having the discussions and the meetings with the HR department of the customer. So now if Coca-Cola is the client, so with the Coca-Cola's HR department, these consultants will start having the requirement gathering discussions where they start understanding the customer's existing system. What is their existing HR system, their processes, policies, what are the pain areas in their old existing system, so that how can we address that in SuccessFactors, and to carry out the SuccessFactors configurations, what all additional inputs we require, all that discussions as is system and the to be SuccessFactors system related, all the requirements will be discussed. So that by the end of the explore phase, where this can actually run between 3 to 6 weeks. So minimum 3 weeks to 6 weeks of requirement gathering sessions can run in a project. So once that period is done, everything has been agreed and documented. That's where the realize phase starts. And realize is the biggest phase of the project, gentlemen. Realize phase is every time considered the biggest phase, where in which you have the different stages of, where in which you have the complete configurations done by the consultants. So whether the consultancy is going to take 3 months for the configuration, 5 months or 6 months, whatever is the period the consultants are sitting on the system and configuring it, that is the realize phase. Within the realize phase, the testing is also done. The client side testing, not the consultant testing. Client to do the testing is also going to be carried out in the realize phase. So realize phase is the lengthiest phase in the project. So both consultant side configuration and the client side testing happens. So by the end of the realize phase, once the client has confirmed all the testing is fine and all the scenarios are working, then we get the final system, the client's production system get ready. So getting the final system of the client ready is called the deploy phase. So you keep you start moving all the configurations from the development testing systems to the final production system. As we have seen the landscape of systems yesterday, we have development, testing, production as 3 different systems. So we get the configurations deployed into the final production system in this deploy phase. So let me open that Excel that we have seen yesterday. Just a moment. So if you see this, as we have seen this landscape of systems that we come across. So in the realize phase, where I say the consultants will be doing the configuration and the client will do the testing. So these first 2 environments, the development environment and the testing environment, are covered in the realize phase. So consultants will do the configurations and copy all the configurations to the testing in this testing or the quality QA system, wherever. So this system level, the client will do the testing. Once they agree everything is where that is the end of realize phase, and it starts the deploy phase. So moving all the configurations from the testing system to the final production system, the live system, is what that period is, what we call it as a deploy phase of the project, where that can again run between 3 weeks to 6 weeks. So what do we do in that period is that, so we start copying all the configurations to the production. Along with the configurations, we should set up all the roles and authorizations in the system, so that tomorrow once the users are starting to use the system, so we should be making sure that everybody has their own restricted access, so that permissioning and bulk uploads of data. So today, if Coca-Cola is implementing SuccessFactors, definitely before this, they would have been having some other old software. So from that old previous HR system, you have to do a one-time migration of all the data into SuccessFactors, a one-time migration. So that happens through bulk uploads of data. So bringing all the existing employee database from their old HR system to SF, that bulk uploads of data and all is what happens in the deploy phase in the process of preparing the production system. So to carry out all these activities is where we have a deploy phase as a period that can run between 3 to 6 weeks on an average. So at the end of deploy phase, where everything is ready, we announce the go live and the customer is going to get the access to the system. The client side, all the employees are going to start using the system. So this is how you have the implementation methodology of SuccessFactors looks like, which is divided into 4 important stages: prepare, explore, realize, and deploy, gentlemen. That is the way. And here, most importantly, what is the difference if you have to say when it compares to, you label it as SAP Activate methodology in SuccessFactors when you give that title, and when you compare with any other methodologies in the market, like there are projects that happen in Java, Oracle, .NET, various technologies. How is it different in SAP SuccessFactors? So everywhere initially project management discussions happen, requirement gathering will happen, configuration, testing and deploy, like getting the production system ready. It's common everywhere. What is it different in SuccessFactors if we have to discuss, guys? That primarily starts in the explore phase. So explore phase where we say the requirement gathering will happen. In that, generally in a traditional approach, what it happens is we have a business blueprint document as a concept that comes up. Business blueprint document. So in which the complete client specific requirements will be documented, their different policies, features, functionalities, whatever they expect, their internal policies, related requirements, everything will be documented. And that's something, a Word document of, it ranges between 200 to 500 pages. So a business blueprint document is something that will run for long pages actually. So that is something in every project they have to start from scratch. In every project from scratch, we have to start that requirement gathering process and having that business blueprint document of hundreds of pages to be prepared. So replacing that, SAP comes up with a predefined Excel format in which the requirement has to be taken. A predefined Excel templates, which are called configuration workbooks. Configuration workbooks is what we say, where these are the predefined requirement gathering Excel sheets, which are available in the SAP's official websites. For each and every module, you have a respective template through which you can actually download the templates and you can start doing the requirement gathering with your discussions with the customer. Example, this is one of an example of employee central related requirement gathering sheet, which we call as workbook. And if you see at the bottom, there are multiple sheets within this Excel file. Multiple sheets in which, being a HR system, it is minimum common requirement that we maintain the list of all the departments of the company. Tomorrow, when you're hiring the employee, you should be able to choose employee belongs to IT department or finance department or HR department. I should be able to choose from a list of drop-down values. So that list of departments of the company is what I can collect and maintain in this sheet. So there is one specific tab here in the name of department data. So the name of the department, description, head of the department, like this. With some certain fields, there is a predefined format in which I can take all the customer side department input here. This is one. Similar way, the locations of the company. So the company might have locations across the globe. In India, they have their offices in 5 cities. In US, they have in 5 cities, like that. So what are their locations? You have a dedicated screen for location data also, in which you can capture the location details here. So the name of the location, some description, the time zone of the location, like this, certain fields. So this is about the master data collection. Apart from this, tomorrow when you're going to maintain the data in the system, so now how does that department setup in the system looks like? A standard SuccessFactors department screenshot will also be given. So a department, when you set up a department in the system, it's not simply a label, human resource, information technology, finance, not just simply a label. You have to maintain all these attributes. So effective means the date on which this department started in your business. So your business might be started in 1960s. But right from day one, every department might not be applicable. So when your company is expanding, you might have got new departments. So for every department, what is the start date? A unique code for every department is what we can decide ourselves. So like every employee will have an employee ID. For that, every department, every location can have a unique ID that we can give alphanumeric. Then the name of the department, some description about the department, who is the head of the department. As on date today, is this department active or that department is no longer active in your company? So that status, all these details can be set up in the system. So this way, one department creation screen will have certain set of fields and you fill all these and you save is one department has been properly set up. So this to be set up. Now, when you showcase the screen saying that this is how the standard department screen looks like in SF, clients can start coming up with their requirements. Like they might say, make this name as mandatory, remove this description field, we don't want it. Head of the department is also something, make it mandatory, or add one more some other custom field. Like this, different changes they can ask. label changes, mandatory conditions, and they can ask you about adding custom fields, multiple things. So each and every such requirement is what you can document in the same Excel sheet on the left-hand side. All the standard SF given fields will be given, SF standard fields. So now for this, any customer specific label, you see column H. They want us to relabel any field. We can record the customer given label here exactly on the column H in detail. And which field to be mandatory, non-mandatory, you have yes or no against every field that you can record. The length of the fields. So how many characters of input that field can accept, the length of the fields. Like this, each and every requirement can be granularly recorded. Every small thing, the length, the mandatory condition, label, everything granularly you can record in these Excel sheets. And any additional validations the client is expecting against a field level, you have customer comments as a column in which you can write elaborative requirements here in the comments. And on top of it, if it's a new custom field to be added, at the bottom you have a place for adding custom fields as well. So here they just give you one row to highlight you can add custom fields. You can add multiple. The customer wants to add 1 custom field or 10 custom fields. You can add any number of. Almost each and every screen of Employee Central will support 70 custom fields. 70 for each and every screen, not overall. So now for the department screen, I can have 70 custom fields. For the location screen, I can have 70 custom fields. That way we have a customization option up to 70, and that's more than enough. Nobody is going to ask you in one screen 70 custom fields. So this is how the requirement gathering sheets or the Excel documents, which are in the name of workbooks, exist. For each and every module, you have these kinds of workbooks, which are the standard SuccessFactors predefined formats. So the advantage of using these is a lot of time saving. So you have a predefined format, you just have to fill the inputs. You need not start typing everything from the scratch. One thing. Second, you will make sure that everything is covered. The consultant going through each and every Excel sheet here, he will make sure that each and every requirement is discussed. So tomorrow you will not face a situation that I forgot to ask this point with the customer, kind of a situation doesn't exist. If you go through each and every Excel document here, every requirement will be made sure that is covered, what is required to configure the system. So that way we have this Excel workbooks documents as a predefined formats. So this is one of the key differentiator in terms of the Activate methodology when compared to any other project implementation methodologies in the market. The explore phase level, this is one of the key difference. Now, okay, the next difference comes in the realize phase. Third phase in the realize phase where we do the configuration and testing. Here also there is a difference. I'll highlight that. Before that, let me take a couple of questions. Yeah, Soumya.
Yes, can you provide the link to download this workbook?
You will be shared with all the workbooks at a time anyways. So even if I give you the link, you'll not be able to download until you're certified. Okay. Yeah. So now, and there is a question in the chat. Can we change these fields based on customer requirements? Yeah, Varun, as I already mentioned. So definitely you will have an option to relabel the existing fields what were given, or if you want to make addition of new custom fields at the bottom, you can also add that. That's absolutely configurable. Okay. Now coming to the realize phase to also understand what is the difference here in the realize phase. So generally when we say we do the configuration, guys, example, if the team is given with a period of say 4 months for or example say 6 months for configuration, out of 6 months, almost 5 months they sit on the configuration, they develop it, and almost in the last month or last 45 days we try to showcase the product to the customer. This has been developed, and then we give it for their testing, all that. Where if you consume almost 80% of your project timeline and then you start giving them the demonstration and give them the testing and all, if the customer says that this is not what I expect, the entire design itself is mismatched, so this is not my expectation, if they say, the entire thing goes on toss. So that's where SF comes with a concept of agile based implementation process, agile methodology. In the agile process, they deliver the progress of the project in a incremental way. This way, it's an agile process where So whatever are the requirements you have got and whatever is the timeline you have, you can divide it in some intervals. So example, initially once we start the project, say for an initial 5 to 6 weeks for 45 days, the team can start working on the configurations. Once they start, in this 45 days, they might have achieved initial 25% or 30% of the progress, and they can go in front of the customer on the 6th week and they can demonstrate whatever has been designed till date, so that the client gets a visibility of what's happening and what is a core design that they have started making. All that client will have a chance to have a visualization of it, and if there is any gap in the understanding, here itself in the starting scratch level, they can get it discussed and they can address it without any waste of time till the end of the project. That is one. So now when the client has got the walkthrough of the project, now here they can get some feedback, some changes or requirements that can be discussed. And those pointers can be noted by the consultants. They come back to office, they address those feedback, what was given in the previous meeting, and they work on few more configurations. And again, for 6 weeks, they can work. And again, on some 12th week, they can go in front of the customer for a second round of walkthrough. So by this time, like 65% of the project might have been done, 60 to 65%. So now we will be able to demonstrate a little better product. So this time again, client can have their feedback, their any comments on it. But this time at a second round of walkthrough, the core design change will not be accepted anymore. So here any custom fields added, any changes in the workflows, that can be accommodated. The core design of the approach will not be changed in the second round of meetings that way. So here, whatever feedback we get, again come back to office, address that, and finish the rest of the configurations. And finally, in the third round of walkthrough, again after a few weeks, you go in front of the customer. This time you get a chance to demonstrate the end-to-end product. The complete 100% end-to-end life cycle is what you can demonstrate. And at this stage, any corrections will be in terms of very cosmetic things. The core logics will not be entertained here. Very few things like any small custom fields addition, rearranging of the fields, small change in the workflow can be accommodated, not the complex changes anymore. So that way, the project delivery happens in a agile methodology, in a incremental way, so that we are indirectly involving the client also in the implementation process. We are buying their time in various stages of the project, and indirectly they are passively doing a testing, or they are not logging into the system and doing. We are showcasing the system and they are able to comment on it to give their observations. So passively they are investing their time into the project, so that there is no surprise at a last minute on the 5th month or the 6th month. There is not a surprise. They have been looking at the system already in different intervals. So by the time you come to the testing phase, the complexities or the number of issues that you get will be very much minimized. So that's how then we release the system to the client for testing, all the integrations testing, the user acceptance testing, whatever. And at the end of the realize phase is where we are done with the testing and we move into the deploy phase. So this is one difference where we see with any other traditional project implementations and the SAP's realize phase, in which we deliver in multiple intervals. And this is now demonstrated with 3 rounds of walkthrough, 3 iteration periods that can be even increased to 5, 7, any number of, it depends upon the timeline. So if your project is a complex project, it's you are doing it for 20 countries, like for Coca-Cola as a project, for 20 countries you are implementing, it's a complex project that's going for 1.5 years. They can have 8 rounds of walkthrough also. So every 45 days, if you are conducting a meeting with the client, in 1.5 years, you can have 8 rounds of meetings also. So that depends upon, so there is no fixed number of iterations. It depends upon the project plan they can decide it. So this is how the 2 important differences come, the explore phase and the realize phase, the way how it makes it unique in terms of the approach when compared to any other implementation methodologies in the market. Okay. Let me take a question. Yeah, Gopal.
So you mentioned that we will be only creating this document, like Excel document, no? So apart from this, no other document will be created for this implementation, SuccessFactor implementation.
So document means this is a requirement gathering related workbook. Apart from that, you can prepare user manuals, you can prepare admin manuals.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the
But for
manuals.
okay. But for the configuration and requirement gathering, this is the only document what we prepare in SuccessFactors.
We
Apart
prepare for requirement gathering, not config document. Remember this. There is a difference between requirement gathering and config. Config document is you have to maintain a document with the list of configurations you have maintained, the screenshots, all that. So that config document culture is not present in SuccessFactors.
Okay.
Requirement gathering, you as a consultant, you have followed the document and prepared the system, and they do the testing. So you prepare the test scripts, you prepared manuals, all this, but not a config document. Okay.
This is only referred as a configuration document, we can say this document.
So configuration document as a terminology is totally confusing. So that is a different document you will have. Requirement gathering document and config documents are two different actually. Don't mix up the things.
We don't use it here. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. And there is a question about what is a typical timeline for an EC implementation for a headcount of 5,000 employees and all. So for an employee central project, on average, if we have to say, it's a 8 months project timeline. 8 months is average. So there are projects that even go for 10 months, 12 months also, but most of the implementations, if we have to consider, 8 months is generally quoted. If it is talent modules, like performance, recruitment and all, so average is what we say 6 months. Sometimes project also go to 8 months for talent modules, but average is 6 months we see that way. Okay. And then there's a question. So we take the sign off from the customer on this workbooks. Yes, correctly. So once the requirement gathering is all done, every requirement is documented in this Excel sheet. So that Excel sheets is what we share it to the customer, and the customer will be giving an agreement or their sign off on that Excel sheet documents. Okay, that is the one. And then
Hi Shiva.
Let's 1 second, please use the process of hand raise. Just hand raise and wait. I'll call out your name. Okay. Yes, I'm just coming in a sequence that there are some questions in the chat to answer as well. That's why. And there is a question about data templates download will be available within SF. Yeah. So for what all data uploads I'm talking about, that we perform the master data imports of the client. So this data import templates are available within SF system. For example, if I have to upload the salary details of the employees, the personal details, anything. So whatever is the format is available within the SF system. We download the templates and prepare the data in that respective formats and we upload. So in our employee central discussions, we'll have almost 2 to 3 hours of dedicated discussion on the data upload templates. Okay, that is the one. And then next we have Guru Rajashekar Reddy, sorry, Gunaraj Shekhar Reddy, please.
Yeah, sir. So after implementing, what kind of tickets you will get in the support actually in SF?
Yeah. So what kind of tickets we get in a project is like now example, the client has given us certain validation. Okay. So if that validation is not working, for example, employee have to apply a leave. If he has to apply a leave, he should have completed minimum 3 months probation period, else he is not allowed to apply a leave. If suddenly if that error is triggering, even employee has completed 3 months, still that error is triggering. So that is an issue they will raise. That is one. Sometimes the system might be allowing to apply leave even within 1 month. So that is an issue. Minimum 3 months he should not be allowed. So that is an issue that can be. Or sometimes permission issues. So I as a HR in the company, I should be able to do the employee promotions or transfers, whatever, where certain feature is not working. I'm not able to carry out the promotion process. That can be an issue they can raise, where we have to investigate the permissions of that particular HR user. Why is he not able to do? That way, visibility related, permission access related, the validations related, there can be multiple. Any requirement can turn out to be a support issue. So a requirement not working suddenly is a reason for an issue that way. Okay.
And what time, in what period we have to finish, complete the tickets are actually like P1, P2, P3?
That is all about project to project. It depends upon. So what kind of agreement the IT company is having with the implementation partner. So when they raise a ticket, if they are having a ticketing tool, so there are a lot of ticketing tools like Jira, they have ServiceNow, different ticketing tools in different projects. So in that they can have some priorities like high priority, medium priority, critical priority like that. So for each and everything, they have a agreed SLA period. So if it is a low priority, it can be addressed within 2 days. Medium priority within 1 day, high priority within 1 hour, Like that, they can have their timelines accordingly. The SLAs will be measured at a project management level.
Same like as a SAP methodology, P1, P2 tickets like
Anyway, that's common. When it comes to support, it is common. Nothing specific for SuccessFactors. Anything is the same.
Thank you, sir.
Sounds good. Next, we have Naresh.
Hi, Shivam.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, as a consultant, we only collect the Excel sheet data, or any apart from any other of team members or
You are the
any
consultant.
team.
You are the consultant who has to work on. So you are the person who is going to do the requirement gathering. So there is no different people, as I already mentioned in yesterday's session. So SuccessFactors for one module, you are the owner. That's it. Right from requirement gathering, configuration, getting the configurations migrated from one system to the other, and finally go live of the project. You are the end-to-end show player. For every module, one individual consultant has to play the role. That's it. There are no other people supporting you in between. Okay.
Okay. So after hand out the project to the customer, then if any issue raises, then how it process? They hire internally, or again they approach to our.
That's what, even that, as we discussed, when we have a project, it can be like implementation. Before go live is what we say implementation. Once the go live is done and we hand over the project, later on, whatever is the support whatever is the support we do is called a support project. Before implementation, we call before the project go live is called implementation project. After the go live is called support project. So in the support project is where, so the same team which participated in the implementation can be there, or it can be a different team that can be allocated. So this support team can support the project for 6 months or 1 year, or whatever is the agreement between the IT company and the client. So in that support project, so whatever is the bug fix, whatever the issues that the client is facing, they'll raise it in the ticketing tool, and this team will be working on it. So that way. Okay. Yeah. 1 minute, guys. Okay, so let me just pause the questions for a while and take it forward with the discussion. So now here, this way we have the activate methodology that will cover different stages, and each and every stage has its respective significance. So this is important for you to have an understanding of what happens in each and every stage. Okay, but all this is monitored and managed by the project management team. We as a consultant play the activities in each role. So whether everything is happening as per process within the timelines or not, planning those timelines. So planning this entire project plan with start date to end date is all the project management side. And just to give you an example of a project plan which covers all these stages, just a project plan just to fit into my window, I just kept it for 20 months, so 20 weeks, 5 months. So there'll be projects which will go for 8 months, 1 year, as I told you. So this way you can divide it. So the first 2 weeks for requirement gathering, and then from the third week they start to the configurations, in which they have the iteration period. For 5 weeks they are doing the configurations, and on the 8th week they are going in front of the customer for the first round of walkthrough. Then they come back to office, work on few more configurations for 4 more weeks, again second round of walkthrough, and 3 more weeks of config, and third round of walkthrough. That way we can have a project plan prepared. And once the 3 rounds of meetings are done, is where we can release the product for the client testing. So UAT stands for user aided testing. So user acceptance testing or user aided testing, we can say. So where the client is actually doing the testing and giving us the results, whether everything is working or not. So once everything is fine, they decided, they have said everything is good, then we can start moving the configurations to the production system. That is the last week, 1 week, we can copy all the configurations to production and get it ready. The end of the 20th week is where they can announce the go live. That way, just to fit the things into the 20 weeks timeline, I have just kept it this way, but most of the projects will go beyond that. So within 5 months, completing a project is not practically possible. So minimum 6 months, and that goes to 1 year also. So we can have it designed as per the available timeline. The project managers will be preparing this project plan. Okay, that is the way. So this is about the implementation methodology with all the different stages what we see in the real-time project. So in this process, we should also be aware of that important websites. So what are the important websites of success factors that we as a consultants during our implementation that we should be aware of? Is that? So three important websites at this stage to start with: Partner Edge, Customer Community, and Support Portal. These are the three websites. And the key point is, for all these three websites to be accessible, you should be certified on at least one single module of SuccessFactors. So if you directly go to this URL, you will be able to open the URL, navigate few pages, but few internal links and all to navigate. It will ask you to log in, or even to download any documents from these websites and all. You should be able to log in, and to log in, you should be certified first of all. That is the way. And so what do we have from these individual websites is, so Partner Edge as a website is where you will get all those requirement gathering Excel sheets, the workbooks that we are talking about. So for every module, you get the workbook available to be downloaded from this website. And the different documentations, which are config-oriented documentations, which we call as implementation guides. Implementation guides, like what is the process of the config of each and every feature in the system for every module. That module specific technical documents will be available in the Partner Edge. Something what a consultant can only understand, client can't understand everything in that. That are in the customer, sorry, they are in the consultant language, will be in the Partner Edge. So that kind of different documentation will be available in the Partner Edge for us. And then we have something called Customer Community. Customer Community is a place where we, the consultants, will have the access, and also the client will have the access. If Coca-Cola is our client, Coca-Cola can also have the access to the customer community. But in the Coca-Cola side, who will have the access is the top level, the project management level top people. So less than 10 people will be having the access to the Partner Edge. Okay, not the end users, only the people in the client side who are involved in the project management level, top level people will have the access, and we, the consultants, will also have the access. So what can we do here is, we get the documents in the customer language, which is the user manuals kind of a thing, the end user documentation, like how should you use the Employee Central for hiring, promotions, transfers, for various activities of a HR to be carried out. So what are the admin kind of a documentations that will be there? And there is one feature that the clients can raise some request to SAP in the customer community. So example, the client has started using the system. Now they are using it from last 6 months, last 1 year. So in this 1 year, they have some feedback saying that this particular feature is not available in SAP today. We want that to be introduced. Like that, whatever they feel that something is missing and they want to ask for it, so they can raise it as an enhancement request in the customer community. So they call it as influence request. Enhancement requests are called an influence request, where they can raise in the customer community. So those will reach to the backend product team. The backend product engineering teams will get those requests, and they can analyze those requests. And if they feel really that's a valid requirement that would be beneficial for a lot of customers across the globe, then they will be developing those new features and they release in the off-yearly upgrades. So every 6 months in the month of May and in the month of November, whatever are the new features that you are going to get delivered. So during that time, if this new feature is developed, they release that also. So that way, customer community is a place where the client can give their feedback about any new features and functionalities that they feel that is missing, and that will be a good advantage. They can raise it, and SAP will evaluate it, and they will work on it that way. Where we as a consultants can also raise that request. For example, I have done 3 projects. In all my last 3 projects, client is asking a particular feature. I was not able to deliver because it's not available. I can raise it as an enhancement request saying that, so every customer is asking this. So I can prepare a case study document. What is this reason? What is this request about? Why is it needed? What is the advantage of it? I can prepare a document and I can raise a customer and I can raise an enhancement request to the customer community. So that will again go to SAP. So that way, both consultants and the client can raise that enhancement request. But every time priority will be given to client raised request. So that's why SAP will recommend to ask your customer to raise it instead of you raising it. That is the way. So this is the customer community. And whereas the last one is a support portal. Support portal is a place where you can raise some issues with the official SAP about any issues in the product. So if you say that you have configured everything well, as per the document, everything is configured, but still some feature is not working. Or there is a feature that has been already working from last 1 year, 2 year, everything it is working good. All of a sudden from yesterday, it has started giving some issue where we did not change any configuration, but still there is some behavioral change from yesterday that is observed. So these kinds of situations where you first do your analysis, but still if you feel everything is correct and we are not able to understand what's happening, then you can raise it to the backend, the official SAP support team, where the product team will look into the issue. So they will analyze it. If it is a really product issue, they will give you the fix or a workaround how to be handled. Or if it is really a product related issue, your config because of your knowledge issue, it was not it is not being when it is not being addressed, then they'll clearly give us the point where are you missing, what kind of an issue you are actually facing, the reason for that. They give you analysis, but they don't fix it for you. They just give you the analysis and they'll ask you to take it forward from there. So that way, support portal is a place where you can raise it to the official SAP team about the product level issues. That way. So these are the 3 important websites that as a consultant, one should be aware of during the project implementation phase. Okay. And as I told, to get into these portals, you should be certified on at least one single module. So when you are certified, guys, you will be issued with some S user credentials. S user credentials means SAP user credentials, we say. So that will be offered. So with that SAP user credentials is where you get the access into these different SAP portals. So at least you are certified on one single module, then only you receive that SAP user credentials. That's the point. Okay. And then let me take a question with Soumya.
Actually, customer has given some requirement which is not there in standard success factor. So you have raised as a consultant, we raised this issue to SAP. Okay, so if SAP has not given any solution till go live date, will this go live postpone or we can still deliver?
That is all about, you have to decide at that situation how critical is that particular requirement. Without that, can we operate the system or not, is what it depends upon. Okay. Definitely, if it is a product level thing, things have to change. So it's not an issue with the implementation partner, right? So you are working for IBM. It's not an IBM issue. It's a product issue. Then SAP will be dealing with when the Coca-Cola as a client will deal with SAP team, saying that now this is a concern from your product level, which is impacting our timelines. All that they'll definitely do the speed up process. But still, if we can't meet the timeline, then obviously you have to extend it. So that's where nobody will be charged any penalty for it, because it's not an issue at client side or the IT company side. It's a product level thing that could happen. That's a rare thing, once in a blue moon thing. At the end of the project timeline that's impacting and all, that never happen. Because once you're done with the testing and for the deploy phase itself, you're having 6 weeks of timeline, like the deploy phase will be taking. So 6 weeks SAP not able to address the things, and that doesn't happen at all. Okay.
Okay.
And 1 second. Please keep your hand raised. There are a couple of things in the chat. Let me finish it off, guys. Just a minute. Guys, and I request everyone to please unmute yourself and ask a query. Raise your hand and ask a query. Please stop using the chat for lengthy questions. So if you keep typing the things on the chat for lengthy sentences, you will miss the context what I'm talking about. Okay. So that's why just keep your hands raised and I'll call out your name and we can practically discuss it as a dialogue instead of a chat message. Okay. So there is a potential chance that I missed some things in the chat actually. Surya, please be on mute until I call out your name, please. There is a background noise coming in. Okay, let me finish up the chat. Okay, so there's something, nothing I have to deal there. And now, Surya, please go ahead with your question.
So Suresh, we were discussing about these support projects, right? So do we have any multiple teams working on the support project? Because you were saying one team will be, if the customer raises a concern, So this the support team will raise the tickets in the system, and it will be the same will be forwarded to the so it will be the bug will be fixed. So do we have any front end team and the some team front ending and the other one back ending?
Nothing front and back end. Yeah, that's a team with before who are the consultants who are working before the go live or implementation team. People who are
Okay.
working after the go live are called support team, where it can be the same people working after the go live. So that then we call them as support team. That's
Yeah.
it. It's not
Okay. No, no.
different.
If a person, if the client has raised issue in the system, then the support team will raise the ticket, right? So who will resolve that issue?
Support team is the people who are going to receive the ticket. SAP,
Yeah.
the client will raise it, not support team raising. Client,
Sorry,
you are a user, you are using the system and you had an issue, you will raise
yeah.
it as a user. Support
Uh-huh.
team will address it by
Okay.
configuring.
Okay. Understood. Got it. Got it.
Next, Ashwini. Ashwini, do you have a question? You're on mute.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Suresh, one more question. Like when we were discussing on the explore part, for example, some data migration is there. Like some client was using some another software application earlier, and now they want to have SuccessFactor implemented. So that
Right.
data migration, is there any specific team who would be taking care of it, or
Nothing.
how is
It will
that
be the
handled?
same consultants. Same consultants who are working for the project will be dealing with the data uploads also. You don't require a separate team for that.
Okay.
So everything guys, just remember the statement. Anything is the consultant activity. There is no different team concept in success factors. Requirement gathering, testing, preparation of manuals, moving of configurations from one environment to the other environment, data uploads, permission setup, anything for your module, you are the responsible end to end. Okay. But
Yes.
where if it is a complex project, too much of workload and all, you might be assigned with a secondary resource. Okay,
Oh.
2 consultants, 3 consultants might be working. That's it. But it is all same implementation team, no different team there. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
that's it. Sounds good. And now moving on, guys. So now we have got a lot of context into the product of success factors, its portfolio, the systems, navigations, the project implementation methodology, all this. Now that you have got, say, trained, you're certified, and you're into the success factors job, you landed in your first job, and someone has told you now, Mr. Suresh, you are allocated to this Coca-Cola project. So now I joined IBM and they have told me, Mr. Suresh, you are now allocated to Coca-Cola project. So that's where you have been assigned to your first project. Now, what is your first activity, the day one activity when you're allocated to the project? So how do you start the things? So that is what we are now going to start our discussion. The day one activities. Okay. So in that context, the day one activities level. So first thing is, so you as a consultant, how will you be able to contribute to the project is to configure the system. The consultant's contribution to the project is to configure the system. That's the main thing. So to do that on the system, to configure, I need the access to the system. So whatever provisioning system, instance system that we say, I need the credentials, the URL of the system, the ID, password, credentials, all that. So that is where the access to the system is the first thing that should come into my mind. When someone says I'm allocated to this project, so how do I access that system is the first question. So for that, there is an approach we have to follow to get the access to the systems. So first we'll start with the provisioning system and then we go to the instance system. How do we get the access? So for getting the access to the provisioning system of the customer, there are little steps to follow. That is, first you should have an approval email from the customer. The team has to provide you an approval email, guys. So that approval email that you get is a standard format in which you will be receiving it actually, where to give you the approval email, the client is not going to write an email. It is not a manual email they're going to write. So they have to add your email ID within the SuccessFactors system in one place. Within the SuccessFactors system, in one place, your email ID has to be entered. So I'll just show you the tool. So that tool within the SuccessFactors system is called provisioning access. Manage provisioning access is a place. Let me log in into the instance. Give me a moment. Just a few seconds, guys. Yeah. So here on the top search area, if we search the keyword as provisioning, you get this manage provisioning access, the third line item, manage provisioning access. So the client can access the people who are going to get the access to their project's provisioning system. I'm again repeating, the client can manage the people who are the consultants who are going to access their provisioning system. Client can manage from this place, manage provisioning access. So this is a place where all the consultants who are getting the access to their system, their names will be listed here. So here, this is a demo system. That's where a lot of consultants' names are listed. So if a client has to give you the permission, so here on the right hand top, there is a plus icon. They can click on add, in which a pop-up comes, and here just your email ID, your official email ID. Like if you are an employee of IBM, like suresh@ibm.com, suresh@accenture.com, whatever, that official email ID of yours is to be entered. So where on your email ID, you will receive an approval email with a pre-formatted text. With a pre-formatted text in which the client name, some other details about the project, all that will be documented, and a pre-formatted email will be triggered on your mail ID. So that is the approval email that you have to use. So with that approval email, you can raise a request in this website called Cloud Operations Portal. HXM Cloud Operations Portal is a website in which you can actually raise a request to official SAP, where by attaching that approval email, what you have got from the client, and then once you submit the request, max 5 business days. Within max 5 business days, you get the access to the provisioning system. But 5 is very lengthy time. These days, they are releasing it on the same day. So within 2 hours or within by end of the day, mostly you are getting the access these days. So this is a process. So get an approval email from the client. So how do client give you the access? Is by adding your official email ID into the system in this tool called provisioning access. So then you get a pre-formatted email. So that email, as it is what you received, you upload in this cloud operations portal and fill some details and place a request. That request will be addressed by SAP's backend team, and they grant you the access to the customer's provisioning system. So how do you get that provisioning accesses? Again, an email is sent to you from SAP saying that you have been now granted to the provisioning access of this Coca-Cola system. So this is a URL, ID, password. So that way they send you everything in an email. With that URL, ID, password, credentials, you can log in. That is a simple process. But here, how does that cloud operations portal request screen looks like and all? I'll show you to you now. Okay. Before that, let me take a question. Yeah, Mr. Guna. Guna, are you there? Okay, let me move on to some other. Gopal?
I think this scenario is applicable if customer is already having the access to SuccessFactors system, right?
Definitely they will have it. So even the before project has started or not also, when you as a customer went to SAP and you paid the amount and you taken the license, the customer is already having one admin ID that they will be given. That system doesn't contain any configurations, just a system in which they can open to a few screens, in which this tool called manage provisioning access is one of the screen that they can log in into. One admin ID will be given to them already.
Okay, but they will not give access to provisioning. They will only give access to the instance when customer will go to the SAP first.
Exactly, because provisioning is a system every time accessible only by a certified SuccessFactors consultant.
Okay.
Client, even they are investing lakhs of rupees, millions of dollars, they don't get the access to the provisioning because they not be the people who are trained and certified. They don't get it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. So now that document, so that provisioning, that cloud operations portal is something we can't live open the system wise, but I have a document with all the screenshots of the navigations, how that looks like. Just give me a moment, I'll open it. So this is the one. So once you get into that cloud operations portal, first of all, obviously here it will ask you to log in. So how do you log in into this portal once you get into that URL? is again through your SAP user credentials that I told you. If you are certified on at least one single module, you get that credentials from SAP, S user credentials, with which you will be able to get into any SAP's website. Even this cloud operations portal is also a portal in which you will be logging in with that credentials. So once you log in, the first page, there will be some menu items on the top, in which the first menu item called operation request is what you have to click. In that, you get two things. In that, again, the first one, request forms is the one that you have to click. When you click on the request forms, then a screen comes up with a heading as BizX provisioning account mapping request. In that, again, the first link, customer instance access request is what you have to click. First menu item, first drop down item, and again, the first link. That is the 3 steps you have to navigate. When you click on this customer instance access request, the form comes up. So which is the CAR form. So it is abbreviated as CAR, but people call it as CAR form. Okay. So CAR form is what we say, in which you will have a place to upload that approval email, whatever you have got from the client. At the bottom, there will be one place where you can actually upload that approval attachment that you got from the system that got generated as the pre-formatted text. Once you upload it here, the details on this application, 50% of the fields will be already populated automatically. The content will be read from that email, and few fields will be populated here. So what fields are? So first thing is the customer name, like the Coca-Cola Beverages Limited, whatever the client name. Next, estimated go live date. This is something you have to manually fill. So when the project plan is prepared by the management, they tell you. So this is the project plan where we start in November and the expected go live is going to be next June. So that way the project plan will be given to you. Accordingly, you can give a date. So you need not be very much accurate. Some random date can be given. That's okay. Then the company ID. So this company ID is where, as I told you yesterday, for every project, there will be one unique ID that will be allocated by SAP for every customer who is purchasing SuccessFactors license. So for this project, whatever is ID allocated, that we have to enter here. Even that information is what client can help you. Then data center location. So as I told, every customer's database will be hosted in one data center. So now Coca-Cola's database is hosted in which data center? That should be selected here. So all the 15 data centers will come as a drop down here. It's a drop down field. So in which, whether the Coca-Cola's data center is in Singapore or it is in Saudi or it is in South Africa, we have to select that. Where that information also client will help you. So the ID what has been allocated for their project and which data center their database is hosted, client will be able to give us these details. We have to fill it. And finally, the company approver, like on the client side, who is the person that has given you the approval? So by adding your email ID into that manage provisioning access tool, so their email ID is what you have to enter here. So the client side person who has given you the approval. So these are the 5 fields that you have to fill in the screen. That's it, and go forward to the next part where here you have to choose which module you are requesting the access for. In this project, Employee Central, Recruitment, PMGM, 3 modules might be implemented, but you have to select the module for which you are allocated. If you are allocated for EC, you choose EC. If you are allocated for recruitment, you choose a recruitment. That way, you are requesting the provisioning access to deal with which module implementation in this project. You have to choose only that. And you should be certified on that module. If you choose EC and if you are not certified, system will immediately give you a pop-up saying that we don't find a valid certification on this module against your ID because you are logging into the system with some S user credentials. So in that credentials, everything is recorded, which modules you are certified, everything. So when you choose a module in which you are not certified, immediately you get a pop-up saying that you are not certified on the selected module. That way, you should choose the module for which you are certified. And based on your credentials, already your name and email address will be auto-populated here. And then 2 more interesting selections are region of the project and location of the project. Region and location of the project, not your location, projects. That means, so if it is a US project you are doing, the region level here in the drop downs, it comes as a continental regions like the North American region, APAC as Asia Pacific region, the Middle East region, like that. The continental regions is what you come as a drop down. So in this region, if it is a US project, you have to choose North America region as a value. Or if it's an Indian customer, you will choose the region as APAC, Asia Pacific, that way. So once you choose that APAC as a region, in the locations, all the countries of APAC, so India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Singapore, all the APAC, Asia Pacific related countries will come in the drop down. So from which this project belongs to which country, is a Singapore project or a India project or a Australia project, whatever, that APAC region is what you choose, that way. So that way, this is one confusing thing. People sometimes select their location. For example, you might be working for a US project, sitting in India, and you are doing the project. Sometimes people choose this location as India. Okay, so it should be the project related location that you have to choose, not your location. Okay, so if it's a US project, to choose US, not India, because you are sitting in India doesn't mean that. You have to choose the client related location, that way. And your approval email is, the approval email is what you've already uploaded. And optional, you can also upload your certificate copy. So when you are certified, whatever is the certification copy you have, you can also upload that, but it's not mandatory. By filling all this, you will submit the request. So this is self-explanatory, nothing complicated, just the client name, client data center, client side approver email, and which module we are implementing, all this basic details, easy to understand. These around less than 10 fields is what we fill and we submit the request. Once I submit it, so within the same business day or even within 2-3 hours, so SAP is releasing the provisioning access to the consultant. That is the way. So this is your day one activity. When someone says that, Mr. Suresh, you are allocated to this project today. So your first thing is, how should I get the access to that particular customer system? So to get it, you should first look for the approval email from the client. And once you get that email, then come into this cloud operations portal and raise the request and get the provisioning access. So I call it as a day one activity, but this will definitely not happen on day one. It can happen in the first week or first 2 weeks or 3 weeks also. It takes sometimes. But this is the first activity to start with. So why does it take 2 weeks, 3 weeks when we start the project is, first of all, if you have to get the approval email from the client, if you go and ask the client side manager to please give me the approval, why should he approve you? He don't know who is Suresh. Suresh of IBM is not, is an outsider for clients, for the client side manager. So until there is a client introduction meeting, so that the project team introduction meeting conducted, and your management will introduce you saying that he is Mr. Suresh, he will deal with the employee central module in your project. He is Mr. Naresh, he will deal with recruitment module in your project. Until that client, until the team introduction has happened, client don't know who you are. So that meeting has to happen. Then you have to introduce yourself, and then you next minute you have to drop an email. So once you drop an email, again, client might take a couple of days to approve. They might not immediately approve it. So once they have to approve, then you get the email. Then you have to fill the form and submit the request. Like this, things can happen on by first week or second week or third week also sometimes. But that is the first activity that can happen when you start the project. Okay. So this is how you get the access to the customer's provisioning system. Okay, and how do you get the access to the instance system and all is the continued discussion. We'll look at that also in some time now. Let me take a question before that. Yeah, Moon?
Yeah. Hey guys, let us assume a customer has taken 3 modules and a consultant only has 1 module certification. Will he still get access to configure the 3 modules?
No, definitely not. You should be touching the system with the configuration areas for which you applied the provisioning access. If you are allocated for EC, you choose only EC module and raise the request. You will be dealing with only EC configurations. There will be a separate consultant who is allocated for recruitment. He will raise the provisioning request for recruitment. He will touch only recruitment configurations in the system. That way.
Understood. So if a customer has taken, assuming 3 modules, there will be 3 requests ideally that goes in, right?
Exactly. Every consultant has to undergo the same process. Okay.
Understood. Thanks.
1 second, please. Yeah, so there is a question. Are we ready? So is this Avyukt? Can you guys confirm?
Yes.
Okay. So Avyukt, the question is, now the point is the client might be having the project happening for the US region, Europe region, whatever regions. Point is, now they will have one headquartered location. Now, if you say Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is available in, they have their operations in 50 countries. So we can't say that Coca-Cola is a Asian region project, it is a US region project. You can't say particularly based on the places where it is present. Where is their headquarters? Coca-Cola headquarters in US. So that obviously becomes a US project, a US region project. So where is the sales agreement happening? So the transaction, the business transaction between the Coca-Cola as a client and SAP is happening in which region? So it happens in US. If it is a Reliance doing the project, Reliance transaction will definitely happen in India because it's an Indian company. Okay. And next you take Hyundai as a cars, Hyundai Car Limited. Hyundai is a Korean company. Their business transaction happens in Korea. So that becomes an Asian region project. That way, so where is the business transaction happening? The sales transaction between SAP and the business. So that is the region of the project. Okay. And the data center for that client will also be in one place. You might have your employees spread across 7 continents, but the data center will be only in one particular data center. You will not have your project spread across multiple data centers. So the Korean employees data is also in the Australia data center. US employees also is in the Australia data center. Like that, all employees worldwide related to that project, their data center will be only in one. It will not be multiple data centers. Got it?
Yeah, why I raised the issue is with one of our European clients. So they don't do have the data sitting in US or APAC data centers. So they wanted to specifically, while doing the audit, they raised this issue. That's why I just wanted to double check.
No, that's why SAP has brought up their data centers, right? So that's why SAP is, because of this GDPR, if you know that about this GDPR policies of
Yes.
European Union. So they don't want their databases to be going to in the other regions. So that's why SAP has made sure there is one data center in Amsterdam for all the European customers. They have their database within that. Okay, where even their employees of Australia, so if it's a German company, even if their employees are in Australia, the Australian employee record is present in the data center of Amsterdam, not in Australian data center. That way, the SAP has designed it. Okay. And even Middle East. So these days, Middle East companies are accepting this cloud concept and all. Initially, in 10 years back, 2014, 15, there is a lot of hesitation in the Middle East where they are not ready for the cloud-based and they are not ready to expose their data out of Middle East region. So that's where there is a database dedicated in Saudi Arabia that SAP has come up with to gain the confidence of the Middle East customers. That way.
Just an extended question. If the company is operating in Dubai and it's also operating in Germany, so they both the countries, they would like to have their data in their own data centers. So
No,
in that,
that's what I'm
but
saying. That is not
login
possible.
is same. Yeah.
That isn't possible. It's only one data center for customer. And that data center is absolutely decided based on the sales transaction where it is happening, whether it is an Germany-based sales transaction happening or Dubai-based. Okay. So if it's a Germany-based transaction happening where the German headquartered company has contacted SAP and the payment has been made there, so that according to the German thing, they get their data center in Amsterdam. If it is the transaction happened through UAE, they get the data center in Saudi Arabia. That way. Okay. But as a consultant, we have nothing to do with this, guys. This is completely a sales level thing. So by the time you get involved into the project, all this will be completed. This is a knowledge point, that's it. But we as a consultant have no control over this. We have nothing to do with this. So we are the front-end application configuration team, where, as I already told you yesterday, where is your database present and who has decided that this database should be present in this data center. Everything is SAP and the client level thing. We don't get into that. Okay. And even client will not have a right to choose which data center they want. It is decided by SAP, and they have already designed that approach based on the local laws, according to the regional level laws. Okay. Sounds good. So this is about the way how you get the access to the provisioning. So once you got the access to the provisioning, as I told, an email will be sent to you with the URL, ID, password, and all. You log in into the provisioning for the first time. As provisioning is a system all about activations. So what are the minimum basic initial activations that you can do are these list of 5 to 6 items. Okay, so module specific, you will have few things. So for EC, what to be done, recruitment, what to be done and all. Once you have done your requirement gathering with the client, you have a clarity what to activate, what not to activate. But even before that, as soon as you get the access to the system, even before the requirement gathering sessions, some few basic activations can be made in the system. Those are these, and we'll now discuss what are that. Okay, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. So now, yeah, so let me just take one more question. Yeah, Pratisha.
Yeah, Suresh, just for the small question, it is for car form. If we have entered a wrong and wrong details, I mean, do we get a chance to revise it and correct it?
So that is
After
that is basically a transaction here in this record, right? If you see this, so this is a list of all the IDs what the client has already granted. If the client thinks that this ID is a wrong email ID and we don't want this to be, so just select it and they can delete this entry from here, and they again add in new entry. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Simple. And then to show you the provisioning, so the place where we do that activations, just a minute. So provisioning and instance have the separate URLs, guys. They are not the same URLs, provisioning system and the instance system. So when you get the credentials of provisioning is where provisioning related URL is what you get it first with the respective ID password with what you have to log in. And every time the ID will definitely be our official email ID itself. So suresh@ibm.com, whatever. So that itself will be the ID for the provisioning system. So I'm just logging into the provisioning in the background. Just allow me a few more seconds. Looks like there is some November updates happening on the system. So that's why it's a little slow because of the weekend maintenance happening and all. Yeah. So this is the provisioning system that once we get the access to the customer's provisioning system by confirmation email from SAP, with that credentials I log in, and this is the first page that I see, the provisioning related, the home page, in which now here you are seeing I have four systems, like the four projects I get the access, but for the first time when it is your first project, only one line item will appear. So over a period of time when you are being allocated to different projects by your company, so multiple line items will add up. But on the day one, when you start the provisioning usage, it is of only one particular project line item you get it. So to get into the provisioning, as I already told you earlier, you just click on the hyperlink and get inside. Once you are into the system is where the very first line item company settings is a place where we do all that activations. And once you get into this company settings, as we have already discussed, you will have module related respective activations. That is one. The different module related activations will be there. The language packs, the different languages will be there. You can activate all the check boxes. But irrespective of these things, some minimum mandatory things that each and every consultant has to be doing once they log in into the provisioning system for the first time. These are the minimum mandatory few activations to be carried out. First thing is language packs. That is pretty simple, that we already know. Next thing is profile V12. So profile V12 means what is profile is? So in the instance level, when we open anybody's record, so as I told you that you will have different sections of employee information and all that you can look at. So let me open that. So here in the instance system, when we go for my employee file, as we discussed that we'll have different sections of employee data from personal information, compensation, salary information, address details, everything. So this page where you host the entire employee data from the profile picture till the salary information, everything. So this is called the profile. So this screen to be visible on the UI to be available in the system is where we need an activation for that. That's what we say profile V12 as an activation. So what does V12 say is the UI, the version of the UI. So the current version of the people profile, the profile interface is the 12th version, where SAP is every time renovating the look and feel of it. And currently it is a V12 version going on. So tomorrow, if they again update it, they call it as V13. So that way the current version is V12, the version 12 of the UI. That is a profile. Next, permissioning concept, role-based permissions, the way a very important factor in the HR system, like who should have access to what data and all. The permissioning is important. So there is a permissioning framework that we have to activate, role-based permissions. So that is also something. So in the provisioning level, you will have it. So for the provisioning, okay, let me first show you the place where do you activate that profile V12 first of all. So in this place where you have these checkboxes, there's hundreds of checkboxes that you get to identify language packs. The first one, it is very simple. So once the checkboxes have started in the initial 10 to 15 items itself, language packs is there. It is easy to identify. But the other things what we say in this list of hundreds of checkboxes, it is very difficult to find it where it is. That's why it's pretty simple. Go to the top and do a search. Control F search in this page where you search with the keyword as say profile V12. So that profile V12 as a word, you see it is highlighted in different places. You should find a place where it comes with a checkbox adjacent to that. Here it is, profile V12. This is an activation, official activation point of that profile page. This one. Next, the third one is the permissionings, the permission framework I'm talking, role-based permissions. So for role-based permissions, you can again search. So you can just go to the top of the page. Just go to the again top of the page completely. And here search role-based permissions. So when you're searching for it, role-based permissions, you will have different places with that keyword guys. So because of the several places of role-based permissions that comes up, here finally, here is a keyword role-based permission that you have to activate. Okay, so you just have to, when it is coming for multiple, you just have to click on next, 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 and find the place where it is having a adjacent checkbox. So this is a place role-based permissions that you have to activate. That is the permissioning framework is being enabled in the SF system. That is one. Next important factor is attachment storage size limit. Attachment storage size. It is not the entire database size. It is only about the attachments, like different kinds of documents that you are maintaining in the system. Their SF comes with a limit. So you have 100 employees, 1000 employees, 10,000 employees. So whatever volume of employee data you maintain, there is no restriction. You can keep any hundreds of employees data, thousands of employee data. But in terms of the documents that you are maintaining against in every employee record, SAP has came up with a capping. So SuccessFactors is a HR system. It's not a document management system. It's not a DMS system. So in terms of having the proper utilization of this system, in terms of the documentation that we maintain, SAP has come up with a limit of 1000 GB per customer. 1000 GB of space to store your documents. It might be you maintain employees' national IDs documents, employees' previous employer documents, educational documents, whatever scan copies of the employees. We came up with a limit. Within that limit, you use it. whether a customer is implementing one single module or implementing all 11 modules, the quota is 1000 GB per customer. That's it. Within the 1000 GB, you can utilize. So that's where SAP has come up with this limit of 1000 GB capping that we can set. And that is more than enough. So even a company with 30-40,000 employees also, they can't exhaust that 1000 GB, at least initial 10 years, they can't exhaust it. That's more than enough space actually, and that SAP has given. So this is one thing we can set up in the system again in the provisioning level on the day one itself. Search with the keyword as document attachment. Here it is, the section. When you search with this keyword as document attachment, the very first line item, document attachment storage allocation, it has three values, 500, 750,000 as a capping. So first it will be 500. Once that 500 is exhausted, then we can increase to 750, then 2000. That way SAP says, but there is no point in it. Because I am eligible for 1000 GB right from day one, let me keep it to 1000 directly. So this 1000 GB capping will definitely not reach in initial 10 years, no chance at all. Because I've been dealing with SuccessFactors projects since 2015-16. Till today, I did not see any customer who says this has been exhausted. That's not simple. So 1000 GB is what we directly keep it. The problem if you keep it with 500 is, this might be completed in say 5-6 years. Again, consultant has to come and update it to 750. Again, within 3-4 years, that might be completed. Again, the consultant has to come and update it to 1000. That way, instead of that, directly keep it to 1000 on the day one itself. So that at least for 10 years, you will not have a dependency of asking someone to come and increment it for us that way. And as I told, 1000 GB will never be exhausted. If really that situation comes up, SAP has given an approach where they can consult SAP, the client can consult SAP, and SAP will extend it for that particular customer individually on a chargeable basis. So within the official license cost, 1000 GB is what you get. Beyond that, if you want to go, it will be an additional cost that you have to pay. But mostly that doesn't happen. That's nobody comes to that situation actually. That is the way. So this is one of the things, attachment storage allocation, that you have to do. So these are the first 4 basic activations that as a consultant that you should do in the provisioning system on the day one once you get the access to the provision. After that, now it's the time to you concentrate on getting the access to the instance system, the front-end system where we do all the configurations. Now it's time to get the access to the instance. And the good point here is, for provisioning, you have to depend on customers' approval, raise it to SAP, all that. For instance, you need not go for anyone. Once you have the provisioning access, you are authorized to generate your own instance access. I'm again repeating, once you have the provisioning access granted, you are authorized to get your own instance access. So that is what this is. Create an admin user to access instance. So admin user is nothing but any person who has the configuration rights can be called as admin guys. Even a consultant is referred as an admin user because we have the configuration control in the system. So admin user means consultant also can be referred as admin user. So we creating our own credential can happen in the provisioning side. From the provisioning, I can create the instance system ID. So how do I do that is, in the provisioning, again, going to the top, searching with the keyword as first name. If I search with the first name, here it is, like this is a section where it brings me, where I can give the admin username, that is with what ID I want to log in into the instance, like EC admin, PMGM admin, like that every consultant can create their own ID. So some username, some password, my first name, last name, my official email ID, all these things I give. And on the right hand side, there is a create admin button. Once I fill all this, I can click on this button. The ID will be created on the instance side. That's it. Within 1 minute, with that ID, a password, whatever I set, I can go to the instance and I can log in with that credentials. So that way, once you get the access to the provisioning system, getting the access to the instance is in your hand only. You can only create your own instance ID for yourself. And this is an activity that will be done by every consultant. EC, recruitment, PMGM, every consultant, where once they get the provisioning access, they will generate their own instance IDs and they log in into the instance. That is the way. So that is how you get the access to the both provisioning and instance systems on the day one. And day one is the initial in the beginning of the project. And later on, whenever your requirement gathering sessions are done with the client, module specific other activations, whatever you have to do, As a EC consultant, what you have to do, or PMGM consultant, what you have to do, all that you will be dealing. But these initial 4 or 5 things are applicable for every module consultant. Everyone has to take care of these things. Okay, that way. So provisioning access, for provisioning access, we take an approval email from client and go to cloud operations portal and raise a request and all. This is going to be the responsibility of every team member. Same way, once they get the provisioning access, doing all these checks is also the responsibility of every team member. But end of the day, the point is, today as a EC consultant, I got the provisioning access. I done all these 4 activations. Tomorrow morning, PMGM consultant got the access. There's a 1-day delay. He got the access tomorrow. So he will also look for doing all these activations. But by the time he go to the system, he sees that already languages are activated. Already profile V12 is activated. He'll see because yesterday itself already I have activated it. So because everybody is going to get access to the same provisioning system, but it is important that everybody goes and checks this. If you are the first person coming there, you are activating it. If you are a second person, you see that it is already activated. That's it. But it is a responsibility of every consultant to go and cross-check as soon as they get the provisioning access, whether these things are taken care or not. If not, you do it. If it is already done, ignore it that way. And you generate your own ID. So every consultant will create their own IDs. So that way you can create your own instance side of the ID and you can get in. So this is how the day 1 activities look like. So how do I start getting the access to the provisioning instance systems and all? Any queries over here? Yeah, Shilpa? Shilpa, I think you are speaking on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I just want to know this, all these activations are done based on the client basis, like for every individual client. It's not like once we join the company, we will do that and it will be stayed forever, right?
Yeah, definitely. Every project, every client means a separate project. So when you are allocated to Coca-Cola project, for Coca-Cola project system, you do it once. Tomorrow you are allocated to a PepsiCo project, second project. There again, you have to do in their system. This is a client system related.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, Pritisha?
Yeah, so for this admin user, for example, if a consultant or an employee is joining in the mid of the project, so any manager has to create for me, uh, or it will be created by me only.
Same process, nothing difference. You are starting in the beginning of the project or you are entering the project midway anytime, same process. You have to approach the client side project manager. They have to approve, they have to give you the approval email by adding your ID in that provisioning access tool. Once you get that standard email, you go to the cloud operations portal and raise the request. Everything remains the same, nothing difference.
So, for example, if an employee is working into end user side, so how he will be getting the testing system or the credential for testing system?
That is a consultant will be providing that access, right? So in the testing system, development system and all, we are the owners. So anybody should get the access. We should be able to provide it. So as a consultant team, so tomorrow if the business side, client side, if there are 10 people who are going to do the testing, so for all of them, setting up the ID, passwords, giving the setting all the permissions for them and all the consultants thing. So that is a request saying that in the business side, there is a new employee who's joined. So we have to provide them the credentials to the testing system. The request comes to us. We as a consultant will create a user ID and we will assign all the permissions and give it to them. Okay. So how
And
user creation for the business side, the client side user creation is a different thing. This is not the way. So the way how we are creating the IDs and all, this is for admin consultants related. For a client side, for end user related access to be done, it will be directly done in the instance level. Within the instance system, we will have a place to create a new user and all. So that's what we'll see down the line. How do we do that?
okay, so
Yeah.
an admin user for each this module, only one admin user will be there, or multiple can be there?
Multiple can be there. It is client side, their choice, right? The client has to tell me how many user they want for module. There is nothing SAP to decide on it.
Okay.
Good. Then Varun.
Suresh, you
One
might
second.
be.
One second. Varun, can you complete your question first?
Yes, here, I mean, what is role-based permission here? What permission we have to take? Role-based means, is it about like employee role or
Any
consultant?
So role-based permission as an activation, that framework, permissioning framework activation only is what we have seen just now. But once you activate that, you should be configuring all the roles like employee role, manager role, HR role, HOD role. So what are the permissions that we should give it to all these kinds of people is the different roles we will be configuring in the system. So for that roles, again, there will be requirement gathering discussions with the clients. So for a general employee, what all permissions you want to give in the company. If it is a reporting manager, what additional permissions? If he is a HR, what permissions? All that is what we discuss with the client side admin team, the client side HR team, and we document it accordingly. We configure them. So while for configuring it in the instance level, you will have these places. You just search with the permission, you get this manage permission roles. Then this manage permission roles as a place, all that manager role, employee role, HR role, all that we configure it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Next. Yeah, so now guys, now that we have got the access to the provisioning, we were able to do the basic activations, and then I created an admin access for myself onto the instance side, and I was able to log in. Now, concentrating on the instance system, the main system where we have to carry out all our configurations. The first and foremost thing, the logo upload is what we have already done. So the yesterday all itself, we have just searched with this keyword as logo and we have initiated it. A basic cosmetic thing we have loaded. Next, what we can do on the home page is some customization of the home page where what quick actions can appear, what should be the background, this image in the background of good afternoon, this building's image if we want to change. And here at the bottom, if I want to come up with some additional custom blocks and all, there is a customization of capability, but that will be taking almost 45 minutes of discussion. We don't have that much time now. So we will take it as a fresh topic on next Saturday. And now I will be going on to the next level things where we will utilize this next 20 minutes for understanding the standard existing tools, plug and play tools of SF, what we as a consultant should be aware of, which doesn't require a config, but still we need to be aware of such things. Example to start with. So tomorrow if the project is completed and we are announcing the go live of the project. So where we have to release the project to all the employees of the client. So client is having 10,000 employees or 40,000 employees. For everybody, we have to send a communication that the project is ready and they can start logging in. Everybody we should be communicated with their own ID and password. So how do you do that is welcome email. You search with the keyword as welcome on the top search area. Send user welcome email is a tool that we have through which we can send that welcome email communication to announce the go live, where there will be a standard email content that will be ready, the subject of the email, body of the email, all this content, where we just have to decide to whom you want to send it. So you wanted to send it for all employees, all locations, all departments, everyone. Then you just click on directly search users and you can send it for all at a time. If you want to send it for a specific user, you can search for. So for one particular employee you want to send, you can search for that employee. Or you want to release the system as of now for one department or one location, you can do that. That way you have the filters. So what is the content that is going here is, welcome to SuccessFactors, your login information is. So what is the ID? What is the user ID with what he has to log in? So this will be a dynamic token. Everybody's ID will be different. That will be maintained in their employee record level. So when we trigger an email, so this token will be populated with what is that person's username. It will be read from the employee profile level and it will be documented and it will be updated. It's a dynamic token. That way, next with what password he has to log in. So that password also, we don't give any password. There will be a random URL that will be generated for every user. So set password URL is a token again, where for setting their own password, a unique URL will be generated for every user. So if they click on that URL, system will ask them to set their own password. So that way, so their login ID is given and their password is given. With that, they can log in into the SuccessFactors from next day. That is the way. So this is how a standard email content will be there, but this can be obviously customized. If a client says that if they want to add some write-up like, we have successfully completed our SuccessFactors project implementation and we are happy to announce the go live of the project. Now using the below credentials, you can start exploring the system where the system can be used to download pay slips, apply leaves, like that, whatever additional write-up they want to, they can definitely enhance the content, not a problem. You can come up with whatever content. And with that customized content is where we trigger the welcome email. That is pretty much possible. So that way you have welcome email as an option where if you just search the keyword as welcome, this you will be able to come to this navigation, send user welcome email, in which you can customize the content and trigger it for the required people. This is the way. This is one. And then a couple of other plug and play admin features are like reset user password, reset user account. So example, tomorrow once the people have started using the system, that is common that people sometimes forgot their password or what happens, something even sometimes with our Gmail or Facebook or LinkedIn or bank accounts, we'll have this forgot password happens. So when someone forgets the password, guys, first of all, on the login screen, you have a forgot password feature and you can try to recover it from that. But sometimes we will not be able to recover through that forgot password also. There might be some security questions or something. I'm not able to answer it. It can happen. So in that case, you will reach the admin team. So example, with bank account, you are not able to get your bank account password recovered. You will call the customer care and you will get sorted like that somehow. Similar way here, the end user can raise a ticket to the support team. So they can either approach the HR saying that, dear HR, I'm not able to access the system, something, they can raise it to HR, or they can raise a support ticket to the SuccessFactors support team. So at that time, if we are a part of the support team, we can help that user by resetting their password, going for this reset user password as a tool. So it's again a plug and play tool where there is no config required. So we just have to reset the user password. So for resetting the password, there are two options. Reset individual user password with supplied password or just a reset option, two things. So with supplied password means, so example, if an employee called John Miller has forgot his password and if he approached us, he has raised a support ticket, then we can search for that user, select that user record, and we can enter a password, some SAP 123, test 123, some default password we can set, and we can inform him, now this is your password with what you can start using the system. So with that supplied password, when we give him, he will be able to use that password for the login for the first time. That's it. As soon as he use that password and login, system will ask him to change the password immediately. He can change it and now he knows his password. That is the way. That is a supplied password option. Or else, if you don't want to supply any password, there is a second option in which here also in the individual user password, if you search for the same person, John Miller. So here you will get that employee record, select that, and you just have a button called reset selected user password. You're not setting any default password here. You just click a button. When you click on this button, system will send out a standard email to that person's mail ID, in which in that email he will have a link. Clicking on that link, he can set his own password. So in the first one, I am setting the password and helping him. In the second one, I am giving him a provision how he can set his own password. So I just, when I click on this button, an email will be triggered to his mail ID. In that email, he will get a link through which he can set his own password. Say new password, confirm password page will come, he can enter that. That way, we have two different ways where we can support when you are part of support project. So if there is a ticket someone raised saying that we lost our password, you can help them with this process. Last option is like reset group of user passwords. So this is never going to be used on a same day. The groups of people asking you to reset their password will never happen. Maximum in a same day, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people might ask. In groups of 30, 40 people asking never happen. So mostly we use the first two only. that way. So this is resetting user password. Next, you can also have reset user account. That is, so if the person has given his password wrong multiple times, their account can be logged. That happens even in any website, even Gmail, your bank account, anywhere. Your password, your account can be logged if you use the wrong password multiple times. So then to recover the account, they can reach out to the support team again, where to unlock the account. So if you just search for that user as a consultant, a support consultant, I can look for that user, and here the status currently, which is showing in green color tick mark, if it is really logged, it will show in red color into mark. A red color into mark will show, which is indicating that this user account is logged actually, but currently it is not logged, this user. If it is really logged, you can just select that and click on reset selected user. That's it, the account will be unlocked, where you can start logging in now. That way, so if somebody's account is logged and you as an admin user to unlock it, you just have to click on this button, that is done. So this is also something, sometimes if they are not able to log in, their request comes to us. So if you are a part of support team, this request will come to us. If client is not having any support team, this requests are, all these are to be handled by the HR administrators. The client side HR admin team, they only have to deal with it. If there is a support team, this request will come to the support team. We the consultants have to deliver it that way. So both these tools are plug and play. We are not doing any config. It's just to use the tool of reset user account or reset user password. Okay. 1 second. Mr. Krishna, can you close your video? Thank you. So next thing is, now when we say that the user account is logged, when will it be logged? How many times, after how many times of entering a wrong password will the user account be logged? Is it after 5 times or after 10 times? We can have some settings set for that. So where do we do all that settings is, you have an option where you can search for password and you get this option called password and login policy settings, gentlemen. Password and login policy settings. So when you go for this, so here there are few options where you can set up the organization's password policies and all, in which these kinds of parameters like the minimum length of the password, maximum length of the password, the age of the password, all that can be set. And here to start with, so minimum length and maximum length is a common requirement in every organization. We can set it. And in the age of the password, the maximum one is what we commonly use, where like if you say example, if a customer says every 60 days, every 6 months, the user has to mandatory change his password, I can keep 180 days here. So like that, every 6 months, it is forcing me to change my password. After 180 days, it will say when I try to open into the system, a pop-up comes immediately to change the password. Until I change password, I can't go forward. So that way, maximum age of password is 180, we can set it. That is one. And here comes our parameter, maximum successive failed login attempts. After how many failed login attempts your account should be logged? Here it is given as 5. So 5 times if a user is giving his password wrong, his account will be logged that way. Okay. And that 5 attempts is within 1 minute period, guys. So you can't change this. So within 1 minute, if it is 5 times wrong or 3 times wrong, whatever, you're setting it. The time period you can't change, but this number of attempts within 1 minute is what you can control. And then the characteristics like whether the password should be case sensitive or not, should that contain mixed case like uppercase, lowercase, both characters or not, should it contain alpha characters, non-alpha characters, numbers, symbols, all that respective check boxes you have on the right hand side. So whatever features the client wants to have in their password policy, accordingly we can enable, disable the respective attributes over here. And SFR also gives you a good feature that we can restrict the password to contain the employee's first name or last name or username. If my name is Suresh, if I keep my password as Suresh@123, it is easy to guess. So that's why SAP gives you an option. Password cannot contain first name, last name, or username. So I can activate these checkboxes. So if I activate this, if I set my password with my first name or with my surname or whatever, system will say that you can't set this password, choose another password that way. That is also a good feature. Then password history policy. So in most of the websites, you also might have observed this feature that if you are setting a password which you have used last time or last couple of times before, if you use the same password, it says that you can't use the last 3 passwords, you can't use the last 5 passwords, set a different password, it says. So that is a feature that comes up here. So enable password history policy, if you activate it, so how many passwords it has to remember. If I keep it 5, so my last 5 passwords it will remember and it will not allow me to use the same. If I keep it to 10, my last 10 passwords and it will be remembering or not allowing me to set the same that way. So maximum 10. Highest is between 2 to 10, highest last 10 passwords it can remember. That is, so these are all quite a few password policy settings that we can have in any organization that we can set as per their requirements. Okay. So this is a place, password and login policy settings, which is an activity a consultant should deal with. So all these inputs is what we discuss with the customer in the requirement gathering sessions, and we set up. Okay. Yeah, Mo?
Yeah. Hey, from an implementation perspective, while we have a lot of forms to be configured at the time of implementation, do we have a list of forms line by line, which a consultant can refer so that he doesn't miss any configuration before the system hits the UAT or test environment?
No, we don't say it's like nothing like forms. It's all the different screens that come at different situations. And it's not that you are going to sit and configure. Everything is predefined available. We customize them. For hiring, what is a screen? For termination, what is a screen? For promotion, everything we customize. Everything is standard given. And that is all what in the requirement gathering document that I told you, you will have the required related tabs for everything that come up. Okay, you going through each and every sheet of the workbook document is where you make sure that everything is discussed with the client. And while you are doing the configuration also, we follow all those Excel sheets and we make sure that the requirement gathered in every sheet is addressed or not in my system. That way you can cross check whether you have completed everything or not. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. That's it, guys. So pretty good discussions today. So these are all the things for the agenda today, where, as I mentioned, the next week we'll be getting into the config level things. So in this sessions today, this weekend is where we concentrated on understanding the portfolio, the cloud approach, implementation methodology, how do you start getting the access to the systems, all this. Now that we got the access, how do we start getting up into the configurations is where next week will be, from next week it will be the configurations we start, where the platform level configurations, starting with say this page, which is the home page. How can you customize this home page, this configuration, followed by the permissioning. So when we say we can work on the permissions in the SuccessFactors system as a permissioning framework, how can that permissioning configuration look like? These kind of platform level things which are common for any module, those configurations is what we will start discussing in the next week sessions. Okay. So that way we will gear it up. By the third week, we enter into the employee central configurations. That way we'll gear it up in an incremental way. And we'll be working on the system access for you guys. So whoever has registered for the program and made the commercials and all, you'll start getting the system access. And I will also share you guys the assignments, few assignments that will be giving you a hands-on exercise to navigate in the system, how to navigate, what to touch, what not to touch. Few assignments will be shared for you that will help you have some hands-on practice in the system as well. Okay, most probably in a day, I'll be releasing all that to your mail IDs. Any other queries from anyone? Yeah, Amol?
There is last one from me. Where do I get, or a customer gets, the SuccessFactor roadmap?
What do you mean by roadmap? What do you expect in that?
What additional functionalities are scheduled to be released in the next release?
Okay, so that is something SAP will be sending out those emails. So whatever are the upcoming release related features, the SAP registered team members, like in the project management side, on the client side, whoever has their names registered in the SAP's agreement. So on those email IDs, SAP will be already sending out these notifications. Apart from that, the customer community. The customer community is a one-stop place where clients can look for anything related to that. So now today I implemented 3 modules. I'm in a plan of implementing 2 more modules. I want to know the features of those new 2 modules that I'm planning. I can go there in the community, and in the customer community, I'll get that. The client language, in a client language, what documents that will help our customers to understand the product features and functionalities, that documents, and the roadmap level, what are the next, in the next May release, what are the features expected, in the next November release, what are the features expected for next 1 year, what do you say, we call it as we call it as a roadmap. There is another terminology with which SAP will release a document in those websites. So all that is in the customer community, is a one-stop place. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Anyone else? Great. So this is for now. So I'll be sharing you, you'll be getting the relevant documents and the recordings of this as well. So just keep revisiting it. If you want to look at any particular topic, revisit the recording once again. You guys have any queries during your preparation practice process anytime, so you guys can reach us in the email IDs through which you are already in touch with us. So whatever are your queries, you can drop us an email. And once you start configuration sessions, at that time, if you have any issue while you're configuring the system, you can give us a screenshot of what is the error you have faced, and you can drop an email. So we'll respond to you. You need not wait till next weekend. That's my intention. So during your preparation process, whenever you have something, just reach out to us immediately, drop an email. We will look into it and help you with the respective response. You need not wait till next Saturday. Okay. That's the way. That's all for now. Thank you everyone. So let's connect back on next Saturday again. Have a nice week ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
same to you.
Thanks, Suresh.
Okay.
Thanks, Shiva.